Hey everybody, welcome to the Player's Take, episode 43. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host, a man who long ago fell to the dark side, Montrell Rice.
Hey, what's up?
The Player's Take, for those of you who haven't listened before, is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and your favorite podcast app of choice. Let's start, like we always do, with what we've been playing. Montrell, what have you been playing this past week? There's a lot of games on your list.
Yeah, so before I got, I had a 4-day or 3-day weekend rather. So I did play and beat Fallen Order. We'll get to that later.
Right.
In between play sessions of Fallen Order, I was playing League of Legends. Because they're starting to redo a lot of things for Season 10, and
right.
I'm actually liking the changes they're doing, so it may hook me back in. And then I did play Iceborne maybe yesterday, maybe for about an hour.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I played Iceborne early in the week before Fallen Order came out, and this is the first time since I started playing it, really, that I had an extended period of about 6 days where I haven't played Monster Hunter.
Yeah, this is the first time for me too.
And,
it's been about 4 or 5 days actually.
Right. It's pretty crazy.
It's kind of refreshing actually.
It is a little refreshing. I do feel somewhat freed.
Yeah.
I do wonder. I kind of want to get into this a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm going to jump right back into this now that I'm done with Fallen Order. Right back into Monster Hunter because there's more games I want to play. So,
yeah.
I mean, we're kind of past all the big releases, right, for the year.
Yeah,
I think the next 6 to 8 weeks we have kind of a window where we can kind of play whatever we want. So, what are you looking to really play, I guess, in this period of time right now?
Well, I did put Sekiro on the list.
Right.
I just started that back up again. I'm like maybe 2 hours into it, barely into it, but maybe 2 or 3 hours into it.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to get Daemon X Machina on there on the Switch. I also want to get Luigi's Mansion. It was another game I wanted to get too. Oh, Astral Chain.
Yeah.
So the main two ones I really want to get out the way though is Daemon X Machina and Astral Chain. I really want to get those out the way. Those are like top priority on my list.
Yeah.
And then after I beat those, I really, really want to get into Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
Just because I keep hearing rave reviews about that game. I keep watching Let's Plays of it, and I am very impressed with it so far. And I just want to play it, and I don't want to spoil anything for myself anymore, so I stopped looking at it, but it's like I'm feeding for it. So that's a really, really huge one on my list for right now for the next 3 to 6 weeks.
Nice.
And of course, Pokemon's on the horizon. I'm getting that this weekend. So I think my order is I'm going to try to get a lot of the single-player games, like Daemon X Machina. I can finish that in probably like 15 hours. Astral Chain, probably finish that in like 20 hours, 10 or 15 hours, rather. Then I'm going to move on to Pokemon because that's like the most current thing.
Right.
And then I'm going to go with Outer Worlds as a personal enjoyment to myself.
Nice. So, yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I'm playing Luigi's Mansion 3 currently. I think I'm about halfway through it. I got to the 8th floor, I think, this past week. I put about 3 or 4 more hours into it probably. The game's really short. I'd probably put it at 15 hours probably to beat it. That's not a full complete, but that's like beating the main game. Yeah. Like going through all the floors. That's what it seems like so far. The floors are short. They're all an hour or less for the most part. They've been that way so far, and I expect that to continue. For the rest of the game, but I'd say after that I want to get Pokemon. I think I really kind of want to play it and just get my own opinion for it. I'm not, the internet I don't think is being honest about this game, so I want to try it myself and see what it's about. And then after that, that's for Switch. I think I'm gonna get back to Fell Seal in the short term on PS4.
Okay.
Now that I'm finished with Fallen Order. I want to finish that game. I probably got halfway through it, I would wager, and I want to play it more. I really was enjoying that game. I do want to play Monster Hunter more. There probably will be some of that flecked in the next several weeks, I would imagine. But I don't think I'm going to be mainlining that game anymore at this point. Now that I've took the needle out, and I'm not thinking about Monster Hunter at every minute of every day now. So it's like now that I'm out of it, I kind of want to stay out of it for a little bit so I can play some other games. Because like you, I want to play. I do want to play Outer Worlds. I think that's a game I may try to tackle in the next couple months. I want to have an opinion for that for our Game of the Year discussion. And as I said, I want to finish Fell Seal for Game of the Year as well. And plus, I was really having fun with that game, so I want to play that. And then maybe Astral Chain if I have time. We'll see how things go. But that game did look really cool to me at the time. It's just it kind of passed by because we were busy with World of Warcraft and stuff at the time.
Yeah,
so,
a lot of stuff did come. I mean, a lot of long-term or heavy time investment games came out around that time.
Yes, 100%. So yeah, I'm that's kind of my plan right now, I guess, for myself. It's I do want to play things like Catherine, Bloodstained. Maybe I want to get and go back to that and try that out because that game sounded cool for me, and maybe Death Stranding. But it's just God, there's so many games, dude. It's crazy when you really think about it. Yeah. How many came out this year that were worth playing?
Yeah, I think
this has been a good year.
Yeah, it has been a really good year. I think this December will be a good year for us, in particular, and people who are similar to us in the situation where they don't have a lot of time.
Right.
There's a lot of vacation holidays coming up, and not too many good releases. I think the next good release is going to be in January, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's late January. It was. I'm mentioning this a little early, but Mega Man Zero Collection was slated for late January, but it has been pushed to February 25th.
Okay, that's good.
Of 2020. Good. So that game's out of that window now, but I do think there's still something coming in January that is a high-profile game.
Yeah, I can't remember right now.
I don't remember what it is off the top of my head.
I know a lot of games got pushed between April and March and April.
We will go through that list game by game, date by date, probably early in the year next year.
Yeah,
January. So. Whatever that game we're thinking of is, we will talk about it for sure. But okay, let's move the conversation, I guess, to the big game of the week, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which we both have played. We've both beaten. We both beat it you beat it in 4 days. I think I beat it in 5.
Yeah.
And I guess what are your major takeaways from it?
I think it's So first of all,
hold on. Let me preface
this is going to be the non-spoiler.
Right,
part,
yeah, we're going to do non-spoilers first, give our general thoughts. We are going to talk about combat. There may be mention of one spoiler thing related to that. Weapon you get, it's not a big deal. But we're going to avoid story spoilers. We'll just talk about the story in general terms, I think, in this part, and then there will be a cutoff point where we talk spoilers because I want to get into the story of this game big time. So sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's all good. I think Jedi Fallen Order is another one of those games like Pokemon that doesn't have a really honest opinion on the internet.
Yeah.
And it's on the opposite end of the spectrum for Pokemon. Pokemon was getting a lot of flack for a lot of people were criticizing the game for graphics and things of that nature, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And a lot of people were trying to build Pokemon up to kind of overcompensate for that flack that it was getting before it released.
Right.
Jedi Fallen Order, I feel like a lot of people traditionally, over the last 4 years, EA has been releasing horrible Star Wars games, and Jedi Fallen Order is the first decent game to come out.
Right.
And a lot of people have been overcompensating, and plus, besides that, it's single player.
Right.
So a lot of people have been overcompensating because we are single player gamers, and all of us want more single player games, not the live service games.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of people have been hyping it up, and I've been on that train for getting single player games, but this game still does have a lot of major criticisms, but first, I will go over everything I liked about it. I like the combat. I love the story. The acting was really good. Well, I don't love the story, but the story's decent. I'll say the story's decent. It's a typical Star Wars story, which I would say is the more traditional Star Wars stories, not of the newer generation, but the older generation in that terms. It reminded me, it gave me that old-timey Star Wars feel in that aspect.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
It was a mix between both. If someone wants to debate that, I can definitely see that argument. They say like it's a mix. It's a good mix between both.
Right.
I think the voice acting was great from everyone.
It was
really phenomenal. That was
definitely a high point.
The worlds themselves were really beautiful. In some areas, and other areas it was lacking. I did love that they're taking away from certain source material. Whoever was doing their I don't know the name of the person who like looks up research and stuff like that for material.
Yeah.
They did their due diligence because Dathomir is nothing but Clone Wars. That's all Clone Wars.
Is that from the show?
Yes.
The Clone Wars TV show?
Yeah, that whole lore section is nothing but them. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So the stuff that they talk about from Dathomir, like the shit that happened in the Clone Wars, that happened in that show?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's cool.
They mentioned
that is
spoilers
cool.
and stuff like that. But if you watched it, then they mentioned certain people and certain events that happened in Clone Wars and that happened previously to Clone Wars.
Interesting.
That I thought was
view of that.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And if you didn't, that too, I can see from perspectives. If you didn't know about that, this was like a totally random world to you. But if you did know about that, then it was a nice little it was a nice little callback.
That was one of the cooler worlds, though.
Yeah, it was.
So, for me, I think I'm a little lower on this game than you are. I mostly think this game is fine.
And I just giving his high points. But I agree with you.
It is what it is. Like you said, the story is decent. I would say the combat is also decent. I wouldn't put it in the good category. I'd have some severe issues with it.
I didn't mention the combat because I'm more negative towards it. But
you said the combat was good.
I did. Okay.
You did say that.
I mean, the combat is good, but
I'd say
more
it's decent at best.
Yeah, I have higher standards for combat. That's
why
Me too. I'm really a stickler.
I'm getting more. Ever since I met you, I'm becoming more keyed on to things that are an issue with this game.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that in a moment. I will say the worlds are beautiful.
Yes.
For the most part, aesthetically they look great. The Star Wars stuff in this game looks awesome.
Very Star Wars.
It's very Star Wars, but it fits. It all fits. There's nothing that really sticks out to me.
Yeah.
I really like the art design and the art direction for the stuff because it's an in between episodes 3 and 4, so it's kind of before the Empire had all their Star Destroyers and all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
They still have them, but they're not as like prevalent yet.
Yeah.
You know, but it's still in that period where there are the kind of Republic ships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was around during the prequel movies. So it was kind of cool to see that stuff intermingled together. You know, to see it. There's a lot of those old ships and stuff in the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of transition.
Right.
Another thing too, they as far as lore wise, they did the whole Night Sisters thing, or not Night Sisters, but the whole Sith Inquisitors thing.
Yeah.
That is a Star Wars Rebels, which is their new show that's currently out. So they did mix both of them.
Okay, so that is not something they made up for this game.
No,
that's an existing thing.
That's an existing thing. Yeah.
I was wondering about that because, the way they. I don't want to get into spoilers, I guess, but the whole Inquisitors thing is something.
Yeah, that's not really spoilers. I mean,
they're in the game. I find it an interesting thing, but I guess we'll get into that more when we talk about spoilers. I'm gonna be honest though, the level design in this game is fucking horrendous. Like,
you think so?
Oh my god, it's the worst. It's some of the worst shit I've ever seen. This game is trying really hard to be a combination of Sekiro, God of War. It's got some Metroid flex in there.
I was thinking about Metroid when I played this game a lot.
It's got a lot of God of War in here, though. Like, in my opinion,
I haven't played I have played them, but I haven't played them recently. The older God of Wars.
No, I mean the new one.
The newer ones. Yeah, okay.
I'm thinking of because they did that wide linear thing with this game, the way God of War did.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what the level design screams for me. Is it's just literally like God of War, but more
linear,
not more open. Actually, it's more open than God of War was. Like, God of War had openness to it, but it wasn't as crazy as this. Like, this game has. The problem is the level design for me was just, there are areas that are labyrinthine. And
oh my god, you're right.
They're absolutely ridiculous. There are points in the game where you finish a story mission and the game makes you walk all the way back to the fucking ship, and it takes 30 minutes because the levels are ridiculous. They don't make any sense. It's just these winding, like they make sense when you're going through them, forward through them.
Yeah.
But when you're walking back through them, the shortcuts don't even make sense.
The shortcuts are bad.
The shortcuts are terrible.
The shortcuts. Okay, so the shortcuts thing, that's Dark Souls, Sekiro, ish.
Mm-hmm.
That's from Software Design. I know it may be a little bit of God of War, but that's definitely
right. I was
Dark
talking more
Souls.
the level design, not the shortcut stuff.
Well, yeah, that
the level
is a part of
design
the
is
level
more
design.
God of War,
Because once you go past a certain area, then you unlock the shortcut in Dark Souls. But it doesn't say shortcut unlocked.
right, like it's an accomplishment that you made it this far. Yeah.
But the shortcuts in Dark Souls and Sekiro, they make sense because that shit. When you find a shortcut, you're like, fuck, I don't have to go through all this shit again.
Right.
In this game, it's like, I still got to go through all this shit again.
Yeah, they do that thing where they give you these meditation circles.
Yes.
And they're like your bonfires, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you'll get a shortcut, but then the meditation circle is like 5 minutes through the shortcut. Like the one like they don't give you a new meditation circle. You're supposed to go back to the other one that was like before the shortcut door.
Yeah.
And like there's like multiple encounters before, because every time you meditate and you rest and like get all your health back, all the enemies respawn, like Dark Souls or whatever.
Yeah, that's not spoiler. That was in the actual take of the game.
And this shit's annoying because you'll go back through that shortcut and you'll have to fight your way back to the shortcut from the meditation circle, and it's like so annoying, dude.
I will say I am not a big fan. I guess this is in level design too. I'm not a big fan of the fucking enemy placements.
No,
some of the enemy placements were fucking terrible.
Oh my god.
Like,
the combat encounters in this game are a big problem.
Oh, yes.
They are a big problem.
I think it's Zephos, the fucking little rats that come out the ground.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Dude, that is some bullshit.
Yeah.
That they're like, oh, Dark Souls does this kind of thing where they ambush you with monsters.
But
they don't give you a reaction.
This game reminds me of Dark Souls 2. And if anyone plays Dark Souls 2, you know that there's no way for you to dodge random encounters. In Dark Souls 1 and 3, they give you clear indication like, hey, something's coming. But if you're not paying attention,
they give you like 2 seconds to like react. This game doesn't give you any time.
There were plenty of moments where I was fighting someone and someone randomly coming from behind me. I'm like, bro, where did you come from?
Right.
And
they're just standing there like a fucking ghoul waiting for you to walk around the corner.
Yeah.
Like it's not good. It's not good design though.
Yeah.
That is not good design. You have to give your player some indication or at least a chance to react.
Yes.
Those little rat creatures you're talking about specifically are the worst example of it because they will get you locked into this cutscene, almost like this pseudo cutscene animation where you're locked in combat with them, but other enemies can still hit you.
Yes, yeah.
Which God of War does the opposite. When you get locked in like a grappling match with a monster, you're invulnerable to damage from everything else around you.
Yeah,
it's not bullshit like that.
Yeah.
Like that's bad design, dude. You're punishing your player for something they can't even control.
But even the ones you can control, what I found out is sometimes when you get into the animations of executions,
yes.
You can still get a little bit damaged.
That's bad too.
Yeah.
God of War is a game, and I think other games, many other games
do that.
When you get into a kill animation, you are invulnerable, and
because it's a reward to the player,
right? And that is not something that this isn't a get good thing. There's no way to get good around that. You're punishing the player for killing an enemy.
So I will be the first to admit. And I bumped my level. So what is it? It's like Jedi Master and Jedi Grandmaster?
Yes.
Okay. So I went Jedi Grandmaster because I played Dark Souls games.
I tried it too.
I played Sekiro games.
How far did you get?
I got 5 hours into it, and then I was like, fuck this shit. I
think I got about 3 or 4. I got to the Ogdo Bogdo on Bogano.
Okay. No, I passed the Bogano level. I got to when you get the choice to go between 2 worlds, I went to Dathomir first.
Ooh.
And then I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Because my girlfriend was watching me play it, and she was just like,
those enemies are.
Yeah, you have to go back. Like they shouldn't have gave you that choice.
They should. We'll get into that in spoilers.
Yeah.
But back to the difficulties real quick. So I remember pre-launch when this game was first revealed, I mentioned that I want to play this game on hard. This looked like a game that would be really fun on hard.
Yeah.
And because it would be like realistic because you die in a few hits, and that is actually true.
That is true.
But this game has so many mechanical flaws in the combat
that
the higher difficulties are unfucking bearable.
Yes.
Unbearable. I tried on the hardest difficulty, and I got to that Ogdo Bogdo thing on Bogano, and I wanted to fucking break my controller.
Bro.
The hitboxes with that fucking monster are just complete ass.
Yes.
when he hits you and when he doesn't hit you does not make any sense. I will dodge an attack and he will track you and hit you, and then I will stand there and walk around him, not dodge, and he will fucking miss. It's like it boggles the mind. I don't.
Yeah.
The game's like the
game is really. And I thought maybe it was just because I'm playing. Oh, so that's another thing I want to talk about too, which is not spoilers, but it has something to do with the combat. I thought it was because I was playing on 30 frames and the frames were kind of dropping that I was having this issue. So I thought maybe if I had an Xbox One X or a PlayStation Pro, the hitboxes wouldn't and the frame data wouldn't be too stagnant. It'll be more in control. The player be more in control of the frame data and invincibility frames and of your dodge from windows and everything like that nature. But you're playing on the Pro and it seems like you're having the same issue.
Oh my god.
So just to get you in terms of combat, fucking Code Vein has better frame data than this game. I'm just gonna be honest.
I'm not surprised. This game's really bad.
And guys, I hate Code Vein.
He didn't really like it.
I tried it, y'all, and I didn't like it. But this has worse frame data than that.
That first monster too. That's like your first side boss.
Yeah.
That side boss exposes this game's mechanical flaws almost better than any other enemy in the fucking game.
I would say the first monster that you encounter on Dathomir, the one that's walking in the center, when you first get there, you climb up the wall, and he's just walking there.
Yeah.
That monster, to me, that's the one that,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he exposed the game for me in a lot of ways. Because the frame data on the game is really bad. Not only that, but there are certain times when I'm fighting people, and then the game would just kind of freeze a little bit, and then it'll go back, and then I'm like, oh, and I get hit. I'm like, what the fuck? How was I supposed to predict that?
Well, the other thing is parry windows.
Oh my goodness,
for parrying are
they
feel really inconsistent.
It's not just me. I thought maybe I was just being a bitch.
Terrible.
I thought maybe I was like, I had to get good.
Blocking in this game's a nightmare. Trying to parry anything in this game is such it feels random.
It does.
And the problem is this game could have learned something, I think, from God of War, because I'm pretty sure God of War does this, where when an enemy attacks you in God of War, there is an indicator of when you are in parryable range, like where the attack is. Like, I'm pretty sure the enemy lights up when they're about to hit you, and you can get a perfect guard against that enemy. This game has no indicator like that. There's no sound that plays when an enemy's in it.
So the only indicator they do have is when they're about to do a strong attack.
For heavy attacks, yeah. But there's no indicator that, like, if you block at this time, you'll get a perfect a parry, there's nothing like that, and it makes it really hard to parry in this game. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, get good, there's no getting good with this, okay? I played the game for 25 hours, and Montrell similarly, and by the end of the game, it made no sense to me still. Like, the final boss you fight in this game, it's the most ridiculous fight.
So,
I just got fed up with it.
I was so glad.
I was done.
I was at home by myself.
Oh my god!
Because, bro,
I was done.
I threw shit. I was legitimately pissed.
Dude, I lowered the difficulty. I got so fed up with that fight. I was like, I'm done with this goddamn game. Like, by the end of the game, I didn't want to do combat anymore. I was running by encounters. Like, I literally was running through rooms when it let me, because I didn't want to fight anything. I was so sick of it. Like,
so that is a thing in this game. I don't know if it happens on the Pro or the Xbox One X.
No, I was just running by spawned enemies. Like, no, not the thing you're talking about.
I uploaded a clip where I can run past entire areas because the game has not loaded yet.
Yeah, this is on his Twitter, guys. I trap for the Hokage, number 4, not the word. And yeah, this literally,
I can replicate it.
Yeah, no, he was able to replicate this. And it's basically an exploit if you want it to be. And honestly, if my game was doing that, I would have been exploiting it, because I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to fight anything in this game. And at a certain point, I gave up. Like Dathomir, the enemies on Dathomir, the stupid Knight Brothers with the freaking maces?
Yes.
They're so annoying. The timing on their blocks is bullshit.
Yeah, it is. It is. I will say though, to give the game credit, at the beginning of the game, I was playing on hard difficulty, and I was doing the tutorial stages where you're going through the train and everything like that.
Yeah.
Even then, the game's kind of exposed to its parry windows and was trying to teach me how to parry.
When they make you fight 4 guys at once, it was... They
were trying to teach you how to do the parries and everything of that nature. But once I lowered the difficulty to like the normal mode or Jedi Master mode, and I unlocked some abilities, the game became more manageable.
Yes.
I was able to do
the
more
early section of the game is bad.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
You have no abilities.
Oh
And,
my God,
like
it's
literally dodge, parry, attack. That's all you can do.
You have no crowd control.
Nothing
at all.
Nothing.
Even when they give you the weapon for crowd control, which is not spoilers, because it's literally like the first 2 hours of the game, 3 hours of the game, that weapon's not good for crowd control.
No, it's not. It's not a crowd control weapon. It's an AoE weapon that doesn't even do AoE very well.
Okay, so speaking of that, were you having issues? Another thing with this game is your reach as a using your weapons, both weapons for me. I had trouble like knowing my window of reach.
Right. That's what I'm talking about with hitboxes. The Ogdo Bogdo is a perfect example of this, where you will be right next to the monster, swing your lightsaber through its body, and it's not registered as a hit. It happened to me multiple times fighting that thing, because I fought that thing probably 15 fucking times, and because you have to hit it in the center of its body in order for the hit to register, and it's like, I don't know. Yes, that. It was a very frustrating experience with that. And another thing that I have a problem with is when you fuck up in this game, the game fucking dog piles on you.
Oh, fucking
where you get staggered infinitely. Where an enemy, you cannot get out of enemy combos. If an enemy starts comboing you, there is no chance to get out. There's no chance to block. There's no chance to dodge. There's no forgiveness. If you get hit by the first hit, you're fucking done. You're going to get 4-hit combo and you're going to lose half your fucking health.
Yeah.
This game requires a level of precision that is not reasonable considering how hard it is to be precise because of the controls.
Even Dark Souls and Sekiro and Bloodborne, like they were kind of forgiving. Like this game made me like appreciate that shit more. And I went and I even went back and played Sekiro for a couple hours. I'm like, oh my God, this game is so polished. Like I was parrying shit before the game, before Jedi came out. I couldn't parry that shit. I had to dodge. But now I played this, and I came from Jedi.
It's like the Sekiro's like the training wheels.
Yeah, exactly. Sekiro is so polished. And it's not because Sekiro is easier, it's because Sekiro is more polished.
It's got better control. It's probably got better controls. Like the game controls better because it's, like you said, it's more polished.
Yeah,
like,
the frames for your parries are precise. They're clear.
They understand how to do that.
Yes.
From Software understands. That's the thing with Respawn. I'm trying to be lenient because these guys have never made a game like this.
I feel like their next game will be way better.
I sincerely hope so. The problem is that this is a Breath of the Wild situation where people are not being critical of this game in any way, shape, or form, and they're going to think what they did was perfect.
Yep.
And they're not going to change things. And I hope internally they know the issues and recognize them and fix them. Because the gaming industry as a whole is not being critical of this game, and it's a problem because the game has tons of issues.
Yes, it's a really good game. It has a ton of issues.
I think it's definitely worth playing. This game is 100% worth playing, and I don't think it's a bad game. I sound really negative, but I would give this game a 7 probably.
Yeah, I'm a little higher. I give it like an 8.
Right.
But yeah,
that's too high for me, but still, a 7 to me is good. That's a good game.
That's a good game.
It's a good game, and that's what I think this game is.
I was on record for saying on Twitter I gave it 7.5 to 8. Because the game is good, but it has a lot of technical issues that needs to be addressed.
Yes. So playing on the Pro. Early in the game, it was interesting. I didn't have a lot of frame issues, but later in the game, the later I got in the game, there's so much shit happening. The console can't handle it. The game starts falling apart. Like, there are severe frame drops. Characters skipping around. Also, this game's really buggy. Pathing is horrible. There were several times where my character got stuck in geometry.
I did
wall running where you get stuck on a wall.
Really?
That never happened to me. Run in a direction that isn't even supposed to be possible.
Really?
Oh yeah, it happened to me a lot, and then I died. There's a lot of moments, where you're like flipping on ropes and trying to catch ropes, where my character is facing a direction and then jumps to the right of the direction I'm facing.
Really?
Yeah. No, there was some weird shit that was going on with this game.
The only weird thing as far as traversing. Only weird thing that happened to me was I was actually literally running back from the temple to the ship on the first level. Yeah. And the game didn't load fast enough, and I fell through the map. So that was the only thing that happened to me.
Yeah.
But besides that, I didn't really have any issues with traversing. it was just
I
characters.
had a lot.
Yeah, it was for me. It was characters loading in the T poses.
That's interesting.
When they're still fighting, sometime they'll be in T pose. So I didn't know what animation they're about to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would be attacking you.
Yeah, they'd be attacking
So
me.
they would be in T pose and they'd be gliding towards you, and then all of a sudden you get hit.
I have it recorded, man. I have it recorded.
I love video games.
Dathomir was one of the most
so
buggier
funny.
planets for me for this one when it does that. A lot of other planets didn't really do it, but Dathomir, that planet was like super buggy for me as far as enemy placements, enemies loading in, things of that nature.
Right.
I don't know. I just really want the combat to be better because I see the potential in the combat.
I do too.
And a lot of people just aren't, like you said, aren't being honest about it on the internet. And it's just, I even tweeted about it and I tweeted at them. I tweeted on hashtags hoping someone would like respond, interact with me. People liked it. I maybe got like 10 likes or something like that, but no one was honest enough to give honest feedback. Even in my Star Wars group chat, a lot of people were like, yeah, the game has issues, but I love it so far. And now I mention the issues and they just fall on deaf ears. I think this stuff needs to be addressed not because I wanted to hate the game, because I want the game to get better for the next one.
If you go on the Reddit, there's a lot of criticism on there.
Okay.
Buried in there. Like I was reading the general impressions mega thread the day the game came out, and there was a lot of criticism similar to ours.
Okay.
In that thread, kind of just buried in there. I don't know the state of it now. I haven't really looked since then, but so I think there are people out there. They're just opinions they're not the loud ones. We don't go Pokemon on them, and that's right. So, what did you think of the puzzles and whatnot? There are a lot of puzzles in this game.
I actually thought they were very enjoyable.
Yeah.
I didn't mind them.
I did too. They were good. They were solid.
Yeah.
I think they were mostly there weren't any puzzles that tripped me up to the point where I needed to go outside the game to figure them out.
It was one that got me, and it really frustrated me. And it was in that water temple where you had to carry the candles.
That
part pissed me the fuck off.
Yeah, you're right. That is true. That is one that I didn't figure out. That one was annoying.
Yeah, that's really the only one that tripped me up, though.
The hints are not very helpful.
Oh yeah, the hints suck.
Yeah.
What's his name? BD1.
BD1.
Yeah, he doesn't know shit. Neither does your character. So.
Yeah. So overall, I think finish off our non-spoilers, I would recommend the game.
I would definitely recommend it too. If you're a Star Wars fan, Dark Souls fan, or you're just a fan of combat in general, or you just wanted to get into it because you think being a Jedi is fucking fun. This game is really good. If you're going into this game thinking it's going to be a Force Unleashed, bad news for you, buddy. No.
It's the complete opposite.
It's the complete opposite spectrum of that.
Yeah.
I'll get into that on the spoiler end. But before I go there, I'll just say they played a lot of shit safe.
Yes, actually, I do want to talk about that, I guess, before we get into spoilers, is the longer the game went on, the more disappointed I was in the choice for the main character. Like, who they decided to make that person.
Yeah.
He's just so boring.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
I'll
get into more detail and spoilers, but just understand that I don't think that this character
Every single tech from this game is safe. From the level design, honestly, the enemy placement is probably the more ambitious route for enemy placement.
Right.
But everything from the level design to the combat to the powers you get to the story itself is just safe.
Yeah.
And I am very disappointed because Respawn has taken risk even with Titanfall. Titanfall 2 was a really good story. And you can tell they flex their storytelling muscles rather in this game.
Yeah.
They know how to tell a really good story with you and the companion. I really did feel connected to BD. Like, I really like that character.
Yeah. They made the droid
really lovable.
Very likable.
Yeah. Even with my crew, even though they didn't really do too much, I felt a nice rapport with them. Well, with one of them, the other one, I'm like, okay.
Interesting. I'm wondering which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
But, keep going.
But yeah, everything about this game is safe, and I really wish they would have. If they're going to play it safe everywhere else, I feel like they could have went more outlandish on the force powers. Like, there could have been, especially what they do with the enemy placements. it seemed like they wanted to do more. It seemed like they just wanted to go crazy with it, especially like Anyway, yeah, that's it.
You reminded me actually of one more point I wanted to make about the combat and the force powers in particular. I hope they learned this lesson because they were way too restrictive in your force powers.
Yes.
Which ones you get and how much you can use them.
Yeah.
You need to use the force for fucking everything in this game. And you have such a limited window. Dude, you have to use the force to do heavy attacks. Like, are you kidding me?
Yes.
And you don't even have heavy attacks unlocked at the beginning of the damn game. It's like you have to spend skill points to have a heavy attack.
Yeah.
That's
really bad design.
Yikes.
That
dude.
was
like,
I didn't like I didn't realize I was spending the force for my heavy attacks until I realized it in combat. I'm like, oh shit, I'm doing force attacks.
And you have to do that they give you an attack later in the game when you get all the weapons.
Yeah.
That uses force as well, and it's just a lightsaber attack. It's like I don't understand what about it needs the force. Like,
so did you want to start getting into it?
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna jump into spoilers now. So if you don't want to hear about the story beyond what we've said, exit now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What'd you think?
The story pissed me the fuck off at the end.
Do you want to go straight there?
I'm going straight there.
Okay.
That's the part that pissed me off at the end. You do all this fucking work.
Right.
All this fucking work. And he's like, oh, you know what? We don't even need the holocron anymore to find everybody. Destroy it. And it's like, bro, what? What are you doing?
So that pissed me off. But it made sense. They telegraphed it. They foreshadowed it because of the vision he had of him in the future. Being a teacher and all the kids dying.
Yeah.
They at least telegraphed that.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. The final confrontation with Trilla.
First of all, Trilla is fine as hell. I'm sorry. I said that on my tweet, and I said I'll defend that shit now.
I want to talk about her a lot, but I don't care about her per se. I do want to talk about that boss fight with her at the very end of the game.
Oh, my God.
What the fuck? That fight is ridiculous. The amount of damage she does to you, even on normal, is fucking insane. She has this 4-hit combo where she grapples you by the neck and then kicks you away. It takes away like a third of your health if you get hit by that shit.
So if you love the combat up to this point, and you're like, oh, man, this combat's perfect. When you get to Trilla, she will make you tear your fucking head out. I lost hair. Like, I legitimately think I lost hair playing this game because... Bro, I was fighting her, and I'm like, all right, the first couple of times I died because I'm trying to learn her, and I always do that on purpose. Right. So I'm trying to learn her and everything like that. And I know Dark Souls games and all these games are notorious for adding combos and moves when the character gets half health. One part that pissed me the fuck off is the fucking droid that randomly comes out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
That droid freezes my game up when he appears on the screen. So every time I had to like time the distance I was away from her. So when the game froze that split second, I was safe.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't freeze when he gets on screen. It freezes when you force pull him and you want BD to take control of him. That's when it freezes. When I force pull him, and it's like it just stops, and I'm like, oh fuck! And then Trilla's behind me, and I'm like, bitch, where did you get behind me from? How are you behind me? And it's just holy shit.
Yeah.
And then a lot of her moves, they like trick you. Like her AoE move that she does. I'm thinking she's about to like do a flip stab. She's like, no, flip.
The one where she bangs the ground and a shockwave comes out. What is that? Like, what is that? That move hit me every single fucking time she did it.
Everyone from Trilla down to the fucking little minion bosses have fucking teleport moves.
Yes.
Bro, I want a teleport move. The little teleport move they give you, when you hold Y and you dash for it, that shit's so weak. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
Everyone has a teleport move. I don't have a teleport move.
Well, the other thing about Trilla's fight that really pissed me off is there's a like her
oh my god.
I don't know how to explain this. Like her she like these characters have this happened with multiple bosses, and the guy in Dathomir, this happened with him too, particularly at the half health point where her and him tactics that work the first half of the fight don't work anymore.
Oh yeah,
where you will dodge her.
You
and
have to.
You know how when you dodge and you do kick,
Yes.
it staggers them and it gives you an opportunity to combo them.
Yeah.
That doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're not staggerable anymore, and like stagger points don't make sense anymore with these characters. Like this happened with her and him. What was his name? Taron Malkos or whatever.
Yeah.
Both of them. They don't get the halfway point of the fight. Like they're inconsistently staggerable.
Yes.
Like it's not predictable when they get staggered. So you then start attacking them thinking you're safe, and they will just bowl through your fucking attacks, and then you get hit with a combo and you're fucking dead. Like
So,
it's
another thing about
the
that
game's
is,
really unfair with that shit.
Yes, and one thing that I don't like, they tell you to parry him. Yeah. I was getting my parries perfect.
For Taron Malkos?
For Taron Malkos and for Trilla. I fought her so many times, I memorized everything about her.
I was getting really good with Taron.
Yeah.
Talon, whatever the fuck his name is.
But it was to a point, though, where I would stagger them, get their stagger bar down, they'll just teleport back, and then their stagger bar instantly come back up. And I'm like, what?
Yep.
And it was getting to the point where it just didn't make it seem like
so you're talking about the guard bar.
The guard bar, yeah.
Right.
So everyone has a guard bar, and if you get down, they stagger into like an animation where
stunned,
they're stunned.
Yeah.
And they were getting to a point where I would stagger them, their stun bar would be like this, and they just back up and then recharge.
I was seeing that a lot too, where they would get to a sliver and then you'd not be able to hit them.
Yeah, because they're teleporting everywhere.
It would recharge.
Yeah, and they'll also do moves. Like you said, they'll unlock a different set of moves, but they'll do the same moves, but then add on extra combos to it. Where the player, I can't predict that. I'm like, okay, he's about to do the same thing. Nah, it's like an extra combo.
Well, he wouldn't do it consistently. Like, Talon Malakos will do this 3-hit combo, and then in the second half of the fight, he does a 5-hit combo that includes his other combo, but sometimes he only does the 3-hit combo.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's no tell that he's doing one or the other, and I don't know. I just thought these fights were really not fair, and they didn't give the player positive feedback when they did anything.
Yeah,
like when they did something.
I think I know certain bosses in Dark Souls. A lot of bosses actually weren't staggerable, but they did give ample windows to hit them.
That's the thing. That's fine. They don't have to be staggerable. You have to give the player, though, windows where they can hit the boss.
Yes.
Whether it's through staggering or not through staggering, but the boss gives you huge windows where you can hit it. It's like these characters don't have that.
I feel like your dodge is kind of weird because
it works so well sometimes, and sometimes it's terrible.
Yeah, the only one that really consistently works well if you press or hold B, or in your case circle.
Yeah.
Because I was playing on Xbox, but if you hold B or circle and you do the roll or you dodge all the way instead of just doing a little sidestep, because the sidestep to me was very inconsistent.
It was.
But it did, when you did perform it well, it opened up a lot of windows for their heavy attacks.
Yes.
So when I would try to do the sidestep for the heavy attacks.
Me too. I was doing the same thing.
And because
it was very effective. Actually.
Yeah. Because when I did the roll or the heavy
you
dodge,
wouldn't be close enough to hit them.
He dodges so far away. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Another trick I did find out, if you want to do that, just dodge forward towards them when you do it.
Oh, in your invincibility frames.
Yeah, and then you will be behind them. You can do attacks. So I was doing that with Trilla as well. Once I figured all that out, with Malkos, I had to learn how to do the sidestep because, to me, he has too many spinning moves that kind of cover his whole hitbox area. He was really, really bad with that. I think he gave me more trouble. Well, no, Trilla did give me more trouble than him.
Yeah,
but
Trilla gave me more trouble.
For some reason, like, I couldn't get him.
I had a fight with him though where I was dominating him for most of it. I didn't use a single stim pack in the first half of the fight, and then I think I only used 2 in the second half, and I hit him down to a sliver of health. But I got caught in a huge combo, and he fucking killed me with a sliver of health. And I wanted to quit the game at that point.
Yeah,
I was so
mad. There's certain points in this game that makes me want to quit. I also didn't like, I think her name's Sarah.
Sarah.
She was a cool character, but like once again, I think she was just too safe and boring. Like, a lot of the characters are safe and boring. I like your crew. I like them in general. I like her, and I like your crewmate. I forgot the dude's name.
Grease.
Grease. Yeah, I like him a lot.
The one you get later in the game, I really like her actually.
Oh yeah, the Night Sister.
Marin, yeah.
Yeah, Marin.
She's cool.
Yeah, she's really cool. I didn't. So, did you ever get caught by the mercenaries or
Yes.
the bounty hunters?
Multiple times.
I only got caught by them once. So you do go back to that place multiple times.
No, not. Oh, you. What do you mean caught?
So I encountered a bounty hunter, in Zephos the first time you go underground.
Yeah.
And then you come back up. He's like right there.
Did he kill you?
He like put me to sleep.
And then you were back in
And
that world where you.
No. They put I was in an arena world.
Wait, what? And you had to escape again?
No, it was only one time. But I was wondering, does that happen multiple times?
Oh no.
Okay.
No,
okay.
no,
so
no,
that was a
no, that was a
triggered
one-time
event.
thing. Oh yeah, that's a scripted one in Zepho.
Okay, because he was down to a sliver of health, and I was gonna beat him.
You can't win that fight.
Okay.
You can't win that fight. Yeah. No,
Right.
that's a scripted story moment.
All right. Now I did like that. I did like how random bounty hunters would come for you, and they'd take over the entire area. But I think they should have did more of that because once I beat them, there were no more. I got an achievement for you beat all the bounty hunters. I'm like, damn, okay. I did like that a lot. I like the Purge troopers. I wanted it to be more challenging. They weren't as challenging as I thought they would be.
Some of them were worse than others. The hammer ones are pathetically easy to beat.
Oh yeah.
The electro staff I found to be they were fine. They were easy enough.
It's the two-handed ones that get me.
The dual wielding ones.
Yeah, the dual wielding ones.
Are
yeah.
motherfuckers. They have like a 6-hit combo that again, like I was saying, if you get caught in this, you're just gonna take all the hits pretty much, except for the final attack. That's the only one you can get out of because they give you a window to get out of it. But yeah, and when you're fighting those guys surrounded by other enemies, man, it's like you're just dead. Like if
you have any force powers, you're dead.
If you fuck up, like if you get hit by his combo and then you have two of the little commando guys around you, like hitting you too, like you're just dead. Like,
yeah.
But in terms of the story overall, I
So what I want to hear your takes on the main character, Cal. Cal Kalestis.
As I said, he is as boring as they could have possibly made a character. He's just a fucking white guy that has like no personality, and he's not interesting in any way. This is the problem I have with him too, is that there's zero dimension to this guy. He's got one dimension, and it's that he's a fucking goody two-shoes Jedi. That's it. That's all. That's the only thing about him that is distinct. There is no other character trait that he has that the game ever shows you.
I think that's
there's no layers to this guy at all.
So maybe I'm overestimating the Star Wars fan base. I thought maybe that's what we wanted. I thought not what we wanted. I thought we wanted more depth to characters, right? But I'm starting to think now they don't. The general Star Wars fan base doesn't. They want these goody two-shoes Jedis because that's all they had. That's what they looked at in Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
But yeah, Cal is nothing but like an earlier version of Luke, in my opinion. Or
he's like an early version of Luke without a master.
Basically. Exactly. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, like and he never. There's growth to him later in the game. There are moments where he grows as a character, but they're so telegraphed that they're not really powerful, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna happen, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's not
like the whole Trilla being Sears fucking Padawan. I saw that from miles away.
Right.
And then he not trusting her because he didn't tell her the truth.
That was such
I was like, it was predictable. And it's Star Wars. Like that happened before. That already happened before. Like I think Obi-Wan didn't tell Luke, like, oh yeah, you told me my father was dead. No, your father's actually Vader, but he did die in a way. Anakin died and Darth Vader began.
Yeah.
Like that's what she was trying to say too. Like, Trilla died, and then the Sith Inquisitor that you fight is began, and it was so. It was just so predictable, and that's why I said they did a typical Star Wars story.
Yeah.
It was so episode 4 through 6 to me. Like
right.
They went through all the motions.
I kind of wish Trilla had been the main character.
Yes, she has a lot more depth.
She had a lot more depth to her, and her story would have been way more interesting playing from her perspective. I don't even think Cal needs to exist. Like he doesn't offer anything in this story that he's just there. Like in people, this is my problem. It's like a power fantasy thing where they like Cal's almost like the player surrogate.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like I said, he's just there, and for some reason he's the center of everything, and it doesn't really make any sense. You know, like if you take him out of the story, like these events would still happen for the most part if Trilla was the main character, you know? Like
I think they could have did it. I think they could have did it. What I really wanted to happen, and this is where the powers too. This is where I knew from the get-go that we weren't going to have any issue or any choices, right? I played Jedi Outcast, and you play as a guy named Kyle in that game. And in that game, you can there are certain choices you can do. You can put skill points into certain things. This is an old game too.
Right.
You can use dark powers or light powers.
Yep.
And it'll tell you which side dark, which side is light. Or even let's go with the Force Unleashed, where you are a Sith Lord, a Sith apprentice, but you have so much character depth because you're learning about what Darth Vader did. Like you're learning, like, oh, he killed my father at the beginning. Right. He actually found me and all this stuff like that. And people are telling you through Vader's encounters, like, yo, you think this shit is what it is? It's not. And then at the end, Vader turns out to be who he is because you're like, no, Vader's going to be on my side no matter what. And he's like, no, he's going to serve the Emperor no matter what. He doesn't care about you. And you saw the betrayal in the character, and you're just like, everything that was surrounding that character, right? In this game, that doesn't happen. There should have been points in the game where you had moments where this should have been like a legit RPG, almost like BioWare tutorial level stuff, because there's moments in the game where I'm just like, I don't want to fucking do this. I think I want to be a Sith Lord right now.
Right.
And there's moments he could have been a Sith Lord, or he could have been a gray Jedi, or he could have been a light Jedi and do the whole power fantasy thing and save the world. Or you could have just been like, I don't want to do none of this shit and walk away from it.
And I don't know why he ever looks up to Seer. Like, there's nothing about her that's worth looking up to, really. Like,
nothing.
She's another character that's kind of just a blank slate, and she has like one thing that defines her. Again, she's a one-dimensional character.
Yeah.
The one thing that defines her is that she got captured and betrayed her fucking Padawan and turned her into an Inquisitor, basically.
Yep.
Like, and that is her one defining trait.
And then one thing that kept irritating me too is they kept indicating like, oh, I tapped into the dark side. That's how I got out of this situation.
Yeah.
I think, what was the name? Talos? Not Talos. The guy you found in Dathomir.
Talon Malicos.
Talon Malicos. I thought he was a very interesting character.
Yeah.
And I thought what he was saying made a lot of sense. And I thought that would have been more interesting of a route for your character to...
If you could choose.
Yeah, you can choose to go down that route of learning the dark side. Because
that would have been interesting.
Because each character tells you, like, he was a part of the Jedi Order too. And he's like... He's saying that what a lot of people were saying, a lot of the fan base was saying, the Jedi Order thought they were impervious. They thought they couldn't be touched. And this came out of nowhere.
Well, they thought they were righteous.
They thought they were righteous.
And their hubris is the reason they got destroyed.
Exactly. And I thought that was very interesting to touch on. And I feel like the writers wanted to touch it more, but someone in the higher ups was like, no, let's not do that, please.
So they went as like safe as possible.
Exactly.
Where they don't even like question the Jedi, barely.
Exactly.
Like, they make this guy cartoonishly evil, Talon Malicos.
Yes. Yeah.
They turn him into a cartoon villain, and he just sounds like a crazy person by the time he's done talking. And,
exactly.
And the player, most players are like, oh, this guy, we need to kill this guy, you know?
Yep.
But like they could have written the dialogue in a way where he doesn't sound crazy, and he's actually convincing. Because there's nothing about... Dude, this is my issue with Star Wars, is that it always... And George Lucas, to his credit, actually put this kernel in there that I have never been able to get out of my head. The whole prequel trilogy is showing the hubris of the Jedi and what that caused. That created the Emperor, and it created Darth Vader.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
If they weren't so righteous and so fucking sure that they were right about everything, you know, Anakin may have actually been a good guy.
Yeah.
But they were so certain that they were right all the time.
Yep.
They always held him back because they believed they had the right approach to everything. And Anakin thought differently. And then eventually the Emperor could get in and cloud his mind and turn him to the dark side. And this game, like, this game and then the newer movies, they just don't explore that concept very much.
Yeah.
And it feels like Disney doesn't want to, and it seems like the fan base doesn't want them to either because people hate the prequels. But to me, the prequels actually unlock something in Star Wars that really needed to be unlocked because the Jedi are not objectively good.
Yeah.
They're not objectively good, and they never have been to me. And they're righteous for righteousness' sake.
Yes. So you're tapping into some good shit here because I think the majority of the fan base. I think you're wrong about the majority of the fan. I think the fan base wants to tap into that because a lot of the newer fans of Star Wars who did grow up on the prequels,
right?
They love Anakin. They love the Revenge of the Sith is their favorite movie out of all.
It has bad scenes and bad acting, but it is overall, I think it's a good movie.
Yes, and I even put on my Twitter that Anakin has more character depth than Luke, Cal, any Star Wars hero.
Yep.
In the main stories that we've seen.
Right.
Anakin has the most character development because he goes through the motions. You see him go through the motions of being held back, of like struggling between light and dark, and they're just telling him like dark is bad,
right.
And then the dark's telling him light is bad, and he's like, I don't know which one is which.
Right.
And
the other thing is his power relative to everyone around him.
He's more powerful.
He's more powerful than literally. I think he's got more potential. And obviously, this happens with Vader. Like, he's more powerful than literally the Emperor is.
Yes.
And he probably could go toe-to-toe with Yoda. Like, that's how powerful he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Know? And so, yeah, continue.
So getting back to, like, Outcast, getting back to Jedi Fallen Order, this game, like I said, the writers kept putting hints in there. Seer tapped into the dark side and killed everybody. You know,
that she's really powerful.
Yeah, right. She's super powerful.
Right.
I don't want to say went toe to toe, but she survived Vader. Like if you read his little bio inside the game, no one really survives him. If they do, they're like really fucked up after they survive.
We're gonna talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, it was a lot of dead ex machina shit at the end, but yeah, even like Trilla at the end before she gets killed, it's like. She realized, like, yeah, I fucked up, but I feel like I had to do this. I had to tap into that because the order failed me. Even when you're going through that transition of being a Sith, you have the Imperial uniform on and you had the red lightsaber and everything like that nature.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been a cool time to explore your dark moves. That would have been a cool time. If you didn't fight Malos or if you didn't kill him, you shouldn't have killed him, right? He should have just joined the thing, but he's like, I'm going to teach you dark moves. And
well, if there was a choice, you would have either fought Marin or Malicos, and actually, whoever you didn't fight would join your crew. That's what they could have done. That's what they could have done.
They could have done that, yeah.
And it wouldn't have really fundamentally changed the game all that much.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah.
They could have joined your crew, and both of them could have taught you dark moves, but different sides of the dark force.
Right,
because they both used the dark side of the force. And I just thought that was such an untapped thing that they didn't do at all. Because why not use that? Why not go into that saying like, hey, we're going to teach you. You get like how you go Devil Trigger and Devil May Cry, in God of War you go Spartan mode, I believe it's called.
Yes.
That could have been your rage mode. Like you get a certain moment where you're just,
or like Kingdom Hearts where you turn into a Heartless.
Exactly, right? Like you get certain moments of invulnerability. Your powers are you're just overpowered for like maybe 5-10 seconds, and you can decrease that bar. That could have been like your rage meter, right?
Even Kingdom Hearts does this better than this game did.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
They could have tapped into all that, and I feel like maybe the next game they will. They're trying to put hints in it, but I feel like it should have just been done this game, because I feel like Cal has no benefit of being a Jedi. He has every benefit.
He's so pure. They wanted to keep him pure.
Yeah, he would have been more of a character if he had a great. Don't go dark side. I'm not saying make him edgy as fuck, but make him like gray. Make him have actual character depth.
Right. Well, he's seen both sides of the coin.
Exactly.
He lived through the Jedi.
That's why it's so weird that he wants to restore the Jedi, or he's like, I want to restore the Jedi Order.
It took some third party to intervene and show him some vision for him to change his mind about that. Like,
exactly.
Why is he so foolish? Like, he saw what having the Jedi Order created. It created the Empire. Like, literally created the Empire.
Exactly.
Like, why would you want to replicate that, you know? And Seer being on board with that, too, is the same silliness. Like, you would think she would also be like, well, this didn't really work. You know, like, how are we going to do this better, you know?
Exactly.
Particularly when the Empire still exists. It didn't work when the Empire didn't exist, you know?
It's just, Seer is Yoda in this situation.
Yeah.
Yoda learned.
Yeah,
she's just bad though. Which I think, like you said, none of the newer generation Star Wars writers really get what George Lucas was trying to do. Yoda was there to serve as a testament to the old times and tell Luke, hey, if you do make this Jedi Order, do it right. Don't fuck up like we did. Don't be righteous. Don't be doing all this other stuff. And I feel like the new movies fuck that up. They're like, he just wanted Luke Skywalker to restore the Jedi Order, and it's like, no, he wanted Luke to teach people balance. Like in this game, they're hinting at balance. That's what Malicos was trying to tell you. He's like, yo, balance. We need balance. There was no order. We were all light. We thought everything was just peachy dory on the light side. We didn't listen to no one. But I tapped into the dark side, and I found out that there can be balance. Now, maybe he was a little bit on the evil scale.
Right.
But
he tapped too far.
But I feel like Cal could have been balanced. Like, he could have been balanced. They even could have used the actor in the movies, like, to teach Rey, hey, balance. Like, this is balance the Force. But he played it so safe here. So safe.
Yeah. And something else I want to mention with this game is this game definitely, to me, overstayed its welcome. I think it's way too fucking long for what it is. There are huge multi-hour chunks of this game where literally fucking nothing happens. Where you are just walking through an environment fighting enemies. Yeah. That's it. There's nothing else happening. And like I'm sorry, it's just padding. It's like not even valuable time.
Kashyyyk really pissed me off.
That whole section is bullshit. It's
when you gotta go to the Shadowlands and find that guy.
Fucking what the fuck is that whole section of the game, dude? Like the environment's pretty, I guess, but you barely fight anything through that whole section. It's multiple hours, and you're not in a. This is the thing. This game didn't get what makes God of War and Uncharted like good. You know, it doesn't. They didn't understand what makes those stories good. Is these boring moments of the game, the parts where you're traversing, where you're traveling, the characters are talking to each other. They're interacting. There's something happening that's giving you some. Like, think about God of War, right? When you're rowing the boat around the fucking lake, the characters are constantly talking to each other.
Yeah.
The whole game.
Yep.
They recorded so much dialogue that you can play this game for 40 hours and there's still dialogue happening.
There are certain points in that game where I stopped just to listen to what they're saying.
It goes on for minutes.
Yeah.
It's insane. I'm not saying you have to be that crazy, but when you're walking around the environment and you're literally just climbing some trees, like maybe you have Seer and Cal talking to each other about something. Whether it's like philosophy of the Force or philosophy of the Jedi, give these characters some dimensions, depth. Like, let us talk about things that aren't related to the Force too. Just regular things within the Star Wars universe, just to give us some kind of like feeling for them outside of what's happening in the game.
I agree, because I did like the part when you're in the water. I'm just gonna call it the Water Temple because I can't remember the world's names.
It's Zepho.
Zepho, yeah. So, no, not Zepho.
Yeah, that was Zepho.
You're in the water caverns?
That's the second. Wait, what?
The water cavern, like the water temple place.
You talking about Ilum?
I think it is Ilum.
Where you get your Kyber crystal?
No, not Ilum. That
it
place
is Zepho. It's the second temple on Zepho.
Okay.
It's Mictroll's tomb.
Okay.
Right, with the magnetic balls or whatever.
Yeah. And you're talking to Trilla in that one. I thought that would have been, and they did do certain parts of it where you're fighting and talking to her at the same time.
There are moments, yeah.
But I thought it would have been really cool if they had did more. If maybe Seer was on the other line talking.
It's very sparse.
Yeah, and you can hear their whole back and forth, and you can see why she's so upset about this is not a third. And
right.
It was just a lot of opportunities, like you said, for that to happen. Like, I can still listen and fight at the same time. Or
like I'm saying though, when he's like climbing for like 3 minutes, that's a perfect time to interject the conversation because you don't have to, like, you're just watching him traverse. There's nothing challenging about the traversal. This game has Uncharted style traversal in many sections where you're climbing walls and you're kind of maneuvering around environments, trying to figure out the best way to get to the area you're trying to get to. And it's like there's none. Those are moments where they could be talking on comms. You know?
Or you can just be talking to BD, like, oh yeah,
you
BD,
can be talking to BD.
like this is where I came from, my parents, or this and that. Like, we could have learned all about that, or how did he get to the junkyard after escaping? Like, you know,
where you're traversing around some stormtroopers stealthily, and they're talking to each other.
Yeah,
you know, like, oh my god,
even their chatter was weak.
Right, for the most part it was. Yeah, it was pretty weak stuff. Like, it wasn't like you could have them talking about, like, oh, I was stationed on the same station as Vader was.
Yeah.
Or, like, on the same ship Vader was on or something like that.
That dude's fucking scary,
right,
man. Like,
or something like that. Yeah, exactly, dude. I just think there wasn't enough of that in this game. I think, that's my point. The game's, like, boring in large stretches of the game. It's just boring as hell.
Yeah.
Like, Dathomir is one of the few planets where I thought it was, like, really good for the most part, because there's very few dead sections in there.
Yeah,
like most of it, something is happening that is engaging. You know, like whether you're fighting that giant bat monster or whatever for 30 minutes, or like, or what's her name, Marin is like taunting you throughout the entirety of that level, where she's like watching you go through the level. She's like present for a lot of it.
Yeah, that was I didn't like it because of the glitches, but now that you're talking about it, right. I do recall like not being bored though.
Right, Zepho is a terrible planet.
Yeah,
that planet is.
I liked it for the traverse.
It's good for traversal, but yeah, as I said, it's labyrinthine, and there's just so little happening.
Yeah,
you know, they don't talk very much, and it's like you spend a huge chunk of the game on that planet, probably 8 to 10 hours, I would say.
Yeah, it is a large chunk of that game, because you're right. It's just the ice caverns and then that water cavern. You go there
3 times.
Yeah.
So so that's a huge flaw of the game, in my opinion. And the problem is the cast is so small, they don't have enough characters for Cal to bounce off of. Your crew is 2 people for most of the game, Grease and Seer, and Grease is not interesting in any way. He's a pilot. Like, there's nothing there.
So that's why I think they should have created more chatter, like you said, between them, because, I mean, you got the actors, you hired them, and I'm pretty sure there's a contract, and just let them do the lines, get them lines, and just do it. Just do it. Yeah. And I don't know, and the Vader throw-in, that was such a shoehorn throw-in to me.
You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, let's get into that.
So the initial moment was cool, right? He jumps on, he comes on screen, and he jumps down, and he's behind Trilla, and he instantly kills her. He's like, "You failed me, Inquisitor." Murders her.
Yeah.
And then Seer jumps at him, and he just casually flicks her off.
That shit was so cool.
That shit was bad fucking ass. And then he's just standing there, and he's like, "You shouldn't do this. Just surrender." And Cal's like, "Yeah, you're probably right." And then
Cal just books it.
Then a fight starts, and this is where the bullshit starts happening. So you start fighting him, and he doesn't really do anything. He just blocks your attacks. He doesn't really attack you. But then he grabs you with the Force, and you're just like getting choked out. And then you pull a fucking giant tank on top of him, and then a chase basically starts at that point.
Yeah.
But the thing is Vader, they even do a good job of this, of showing how powerful Vader is, because after you hit him with that thing, he goes ape shit and starts pulling the floor up and throwing it at you. It's fucking insane. Like, he's like, the level of power that he exhibits there is amazing. It's awesome. Like, it makes Vader look really cool. The problem is,
it did make me very afraid of him.
But then it starts a chase sequence, and I'm like, why? How do you even get away? You didn't close the door when you start running away from him. He literally could have just force grabbed you, and you're dead. Like, it's unrealistic. It was unrealistically presented.
I
think Cal getting away is such a cop out here, and I was like, I thought they were going to kill both of them. I thought Seer was going to die, and I thought Cal was going to die at the end of the game. Like, because he throws Seer off the edge into lava, what looks like lava, and somehow she survives that.
Yeah.
I thought she was dead for the large part
of
the
chase
sequence.
I did.
So you're running, and you get to this hallway, and then Vader comes through a door in front of you and cuts you off. And I'm like, and you struggle against him, and you fail, and then all of a sudden you're on the ground, and he stabs you with your own lightsaber using the Force, and it's badass as fuck. But I'm like, at this point, I'm like, damn, they're gonna do this. They're just gonna kill these characters.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, this would be an amazing end of this game. Like if they just did
finally,
this, right? Something awesome is gonna happen. Vader just comes in and cleans the fucking house. Everyone's dead. But no, that's not what happens. You get stabbed with the lightsaber, and then Seer jumps out from behind him out of fucking nowhere. This is Deus Ex Machina number 1. Well, actually, probably number 2. Where, like, how does she even survive that fall? I don't, like, what the fuck, dude? The Force doesn't allow you to levitate. Like,
she's
not that powerful. Like,
yeah, I think she tapped into the dark side. I don't know. Maybe she just, like, used the Force to kind of push herself up. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
So she's alive. The problem is after she comes in, they start fighting him again, Vader again, and they struggle enough and somehow hit him a couple times, and then they break the glass and throw water on him and get away. And it's like,
BD shocked him.
Yeah, it just feels so. Yeah, like Vader wouldn't get punked like this. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
This was a really bad. Like, it's pissed me off because this is a very anime fan thing for me. Is Vader is like the most powerful Sith Lord in the history of the galaxy that we know of.
Yeah.
You know? And as I said earlier, he's probably more powerful than the Emperor. I think he is. He literally kills him at the end of the fucking trilogy, the original trilogy. You know, I think he's more powerful than the Emperor. So this guy is, like, it's ridiculous how powerful he is. Yoda probably couldn't even, like, they'd go toe-to-toe one-on-one probably in Yoda's prime. And a Jedi Padawan that couldn't even remember how to use his Force powers for most of the game, and then a Jedi who hasn't used the Force in like 10 plus years somehow fight Vader and live. Like there's just, it's not a realistic confrontation for me, and it like, I don't understand why Disney let them do this. Like, if I were the lore person for Disney with Star Wars, I would have been like, no, you can't use Vader like this. If you're going to use Vader, it needs to be in a way that, like, he fucking annihilates somebody. Like, it's not, like, your character that you're putting him up against is not powerful enough to go toe-to-toe with him yet. It's not realistic.
It isn't real. I mean, Star Wars isn't realistic.
It's not. But, again, though, Vader is the one thing that Star Wars usually almost 100% of the time gets right.
Yeah.
And this is a slip up for me.
So this is where I feel like Fallen Order, or not Fallen Order, but Jedi Force Unleashed, rather. Force Unleashed gets it right, because I believe your main character does die. You have two endings where you fight him, and I think you barely live, and you just go off somewhere, and you're like, you're done, but I think you die from your wounds. Or you stay there, and you become a Sith apprentice, and you get the whole Sith. You got like a robot mask and everything like that. You're like a full-on Sith now.
Right.
But in the next Force Unleashed game, it's your clone, because they can't use that character anymore because either he's dead or whatever. I think lore-wise, he was dead. Like, he's fucking dead. They kill your character. And that character, everyone knows that character's Star Killer is fucking powerful as shit. He can move fucking.
Yeah, I remember that game. I never played it, but he was like throwing fucking like
Star
TIE
Destroyer
fighters and shit. Like,
he was fucking crazy with the Force. So that's okay. I know everyone's argument. Well, that's non-canon now. Cool, bet. Let's do that. Cal should have got killed. I'm sorry. Cal should have got killed. Seer should have got killed. BD, I can accept BD taking the holocron and getting out.
I think one of them getting away is fine. I actually didn't have a problem with that. If Seer sacrificed herself to distract Vader long enough for Cal to get away.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. That's the problem is they both live. Everybody lives. It's like a happy ending. Like,
it is a happy ending.
What are we doing here?
And then where do these characters go?
Right. They destroy the holocron, and what's next? What is even next?
Like, why didn't they go to the
game?
Why didn't they go to the Republic with this information? Or the rebels with this information?
Right.
Like, it's just, I know the rebels really didn't exist like that. They're still in the midst of like being guerrilla war.
Somebody in the Republic. The Republic still exists at this point in time.
It kind of does, yeah.
No, Coruscant's still a thing.
Yeah.
Like, there is a Senate. They don't destroy Coruscant until the fourth movie.
Fourth episode, yeah.
So, like, it's still there, and there are sympathizers with anti-Empire people in the Senate still. So
I'm wondering what they're gonna do with the next game, because there's definitely gonna be a next game.
oh yeah, for sure.
But I'm wondering where they're gonna go with it. Are they gonna make Cal the Gray Jedi? Are they gonna make him? Or are they just gonna be another goody two shoes? Or is he gonna have a child? I think he's gonna have a child with the old girl, Marin. I think they're gonna become one.
That's funny.
Yeah,
because they are kind of cute together.
Yeah,
actually.
they had like a certain chemistry, and he's not a Jedi anymore, so technically he can have a wife and kids and have offspring.
Yeah,
technically he's not.
He was technically, the thing is though, he was technically an apprentice, so he probably knows that that's against the rules.
I don't think he's gonna follow it though.
Right. Which, yeah,
I don't think he's gonna follow it. I think they're gonna have to make another game. Either it's gonna be him again, or it's gonna be his offspring.
I think it'll be him again.
You think it'll be him again?
I don't see a reason why it wouldn't.
Yeah, they probably play it safe again.
And I have a feeling at the end of the next game, you're actually gonna fight Vader, probably.
I hope not. Oh, that would be so terrible.
Well, that was what I was feeling playing this game, is that I didn't think Vader was gonna make an appearance, and then in the next game, you were actually gonna fight him. And some shit was gonna happen.
Yeah,
the game was gonna, like, the story was gonna get real at that point.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so frustrated with his appearance here. It's like you didn't need to use him yet.
Yeah, they had enough characters. I mean, that's another thing too, right? They made the Sith Inquisition look kind of big, and then it's only 2 people.
Right. There's a second sister and a ninth sister. Where are the other 7?
Yeah.
Where are they this whole time? What the fuck, dude? And you, like, go into their headquarters.
Yeah, and they're not there.
What? Like, what? I don't know.
I would, even if I was on Dathomir, right? I would have loved for them to be like, they didn't even make any Darth Maul references.
Yeah.
Like,
ooh, yeah. Yeah, because those people on that planet are his.
That's where he's from. Yeah. And she could have made a reference like, yeah, there was one guy here. He was all powerful. He became a Sith Lord to protect us.
Yeah.
But nobody mentions him, and it's just so fucking weird. It's so fucking weird. Nobody mentions this one guy that was like super powerful on your planet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was super powerful, and no one mentions him. And it's just, they did mention Count Dooku, but that was in the notes.
That was kind of cool though.
Yeah, that was cool.
That he was the one who massacred them all.
Yeah.
Right. So that happens in
the show. Yeah.
That's cool.
So another thing about, because they could have explored a lot of stuff too. They could explore. I thought Malchus was going to tell you like about the Mandalorian Wars and how we slaughtered the whole people, and we did it here. Like, that's why I thought they were going with it, because they kept saying like, yeah, Malchus told me that you slaughtered all my people on Darthmar, and I thought they were going to be like, yeah, just like the Mandalorians, you slaughtered all of them during the Mandalorian Wars because they didn't want to fall to your order. Like, no one's mentioning this, because even in the Mandalorian show, like, I know we're getting just super Star Warsy, but even in the Mandalorian show, right, you can tell it's a small tribe, and these people have pride, and there's not a lot of them left, but no one wants to mention, yeah, the Jedi slaughtered all of us. Like, no one wants to mention this.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why these guys are really good against fighting Jedi, because the Jedi had to fucking slaughter them, because they're like, you guys are way too good at fighting us. Because this is canon, so you guys are way too good at fighting us. Yeah, so we gotta kill all of you.
Mm-hmm.
No one mentions that in this game. Like, no one mentions. It's just so many missed opportunities to open up the lore.
There is.
To try something different. It's just, I really thought this game was gonna go there, because Respawn in their last games they went there. They did some crazy shit in Titanfall 1 or Titanfall 2 rather. And I just thought they were gonna flex their storytelling muscles in this game. They flexed it, but in a safe way. It was just too safe. It was just way too fucking safe, man. Way too fucking safe.
I agree. I do. I agree. And the game's boring as a result for the most part. I said it's a good game, and it is, but I'm never gonna play this game again. I don't have any desire to revisit. I'm
on the cusp of like taking this game back too. Like,
I am. I'm posting that shit after we're done recording tonight. Like, I'm done. I want nothing to do with this game now. Like, I'm done with it. I experienced it. I'm done. Like, that's it.
There's no new game plus.
No, and dude, the side stuff in this game. This is one more criticism. The side stuff in this game is largely useless. Like, 75% of it is cosmetics that don't do anything.
Yeah.
And the other stuff is like life essence and force essence, your God of War-esque collectibles that are useful, but there's like 30 something of them. So it's worth doing the side stuff for those things, but the fact that there's so many useless cosmetics in there, it's like I don't really want to go find the side stuff most of the time.
Also, I didn't like the dual lightsaber thing.
Me either.
One
move sucks.
I would have rather they go all the way and be like, hey, you can use dual lightsabers now.
Yeah, that one move's good as crowd control, but against single enemies, it's really not good. I wish dual lightsabers was a style of fighting you could use.
Yeah, because it is an actual style. Because I mean, obviously, Malkos uses it against you.
It will be in the next game, I imagine.
Also, another thing, like, I don't know, man. This is why I hate playing Star Wars games, because I'm such a lore buff for Star Wars. They didn't explain none of the crystals' meanings, the colors, and that could have been. I don't think it would have took that much production time to put text under what each crystal meant. Because, I mean, BioWare did it in an old-ass game. They told you what each color meant.
Yeah.
Why couldn't y'all do that? Like, I don't... And then you can change the colors anyway. So it gave me a sense of meaning when I picked it the first time. Then it was like, oh, you can change it anytime. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I thought I was stuck with this color. So I was sitting there at the screen because I memorized what they mean. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go with the gold one. So or the cyan color one. And I went with that color. And it's like, oh, you can change it anytime. I'm like, fuck. Okay, well, there goes that.
Cosmetic, Montrell.
Yeah, it's just cosmetic. And it's just like, what the fuck, man? Like, and then the poncho, the cosmetics are weak, too. Like, I really wish I could.
I wore the same poncho for
I didn't even wear a poncho.
90% of the game.
Yeah, I didn't wear a poncho.
I think I used the Pagano one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I like that one. It's like white and teal or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't even use a poncho because I thought all of them were ugly. Like, legitimately, all of them were ugly. The poncho makes you look really stupid, in my opinion. So I didn't wear it. I don't know, man. I'm glad that the cosmetics weren't paid. I am glad about that, so let me stop bitching about it. But if you're going to make it unlockables, at least make it worth my time.
I do want to say, Respawn has done something that no other company under EA has ever been able to accomplish. They have autonomy.
Yes.
They kind of do what they want. And this game is a hit.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing I wanted to mention. This has nothing to do with the story. But this shit is not using the Source engine, how on their other games. It's not using fucking Frostbite. It's using Unreal 4, which is a huge slap in the face to me. If I was EA,
That's
like,
what I'm saying. They have
you
autonomy.
bitches are using Unreal 4?
Yeah. So I will say congratulations to these guys.
Yes.
Like I gotta hand it to Respawn, like in the sense that I have a lot of criticisms for this game, but dude, they're gonna get another shot at it, so they can make it better.
Yeah.
And they're salvaging Star Wars for EA.
I think
in a way none of their other companies have been able to.
Yeah, and I think I want to say they're one of these games. They're one of the teams that can do a self-reflection and make their game better. Because I think
they did that with Titanfall.
Yeah, they did, and they're doing with Apex Legends Season 2.
Right.
They're putting more cosmetics in for people and things of that nature.
I think the second game is going to be way better.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to realize that people aren't going to be really too honest about their games because of EA. And maybe they're going to have some beta testing, or not beta testing, but actual play testing done for the second game. And what did you guys compare it to the first, and what can you improve upon? Because it's just, I'm not even a game designer, and I saw stuff that I'm like, man, this can easily be put. Next game they can do this, next game they can do that, this, and that, and third. So I'm only wondering what an actual game designer is in the office right now. I'm like,
they're thinking about this stuff.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say that we didn't mention during the combat discussion: you cannot animation cancel out of attacks.
Do you know how much that fucking frustrated me? I understand.
Please, guys, please, in the next game, make that a thing. Like, because not having animation canceling in an action game is, it's. I don't think it's good game design. It's just.
I will say Dark Souls barely has animation canceling.
It has it, at least to a degree, though.
Yeah.
I remember playing 3, and it has it somewhat.
Yeah, you're right. You're
You
right.
are locked, dude. When you start comboing in this game, you're locked.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You are locked, and if you fuck, that's the problem with playing on higher difficulties in this game. Is like the game is so restrictive on control of your character that like you have to be so precise. The level of precision you need to have is crazy
Yeah.
to be good at this game. So, yeah. So fix that too, please. Or at least be more lenient with it, you know? Like, your character's a fucking Jedi. I think he would be agile enough to get out of his own attack, like, get out of an attack, you know? Like,
Yeah, I just felt really stiff, man. I felt really
you do
fucking
feel
stiff.
stiff. You're not agile. Like, and I think the game should have been more bombastic in, like, what your force powers were, like, and how much you can combo them into your own lightsaber attacks and stuff. Like, dude, you should have been able to pull people towards you and grab them in the throat and stab them and shit and do all this sorts of crazy shit, you know? I think. But I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts, I guess, that we didn't discuss with this game?
Nope. That's pretty much it. I guess my major criticism, if anything, one thing I liked about it, it was very Star Warsy.
Yeah.
The thing I didn't like about it was too Star Warsy in this and the fact that it was like really fucking safe.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do a game like this, just go balls out, man.
Right. They had the liberty to do a lot, probably.
Yeah, and
game.
like I said, that's why I'm being critical of them, because maybe they did want to go really safe and just see how the reception was towards it. And next game they're gonna go balls out. But I'm not holding my breath. But if I had the power, I would have told them. I would have been on that team. If I was Vince Zampella, I would have been like, "Hey, this is our only Star Wars game, probably. Let's just fucking go crazy with it."
Yeah.
It wasn't crazy enough for me. It was really safe. It was just like tiptoeing, it's like putting your foot in the water. Oh, I'm gonna stay on the shallow end of the pool. I'm not gonna get in the deep end of the pool.
I agree. All right, let's move on. We've been talking about this game for like an hour plus. This is going to be a meaty episode, guys. We're just getting into the news now. All right, first story. So this one came out earlier this week from Kotaku. Jason Schreier once again reporting on BioWare and Anthem. So apparently he has heard whispers that EA and BioWare are planning on rebooting Anthem a la Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. They're going to be basically... He said none of this is set in stone yet, but they're thinking of basically remaking the game and making it better. Like, not... Like, rebuilding the game, keeping the things that are good about it, but building onto it with other good features and story elements and things like that, level design.
Oh, I wish people would listen to our fucking podcast. We said this shit months ago.
We wanted, when the game came out, we wanted them to do the Realm Reborn thing, remake this game, because we saw the potential in it.
Yep.
And it's interesting that the internet's been really negative about this so far.
Really?
People are like, this game's dead. Why are they wasting their time on this? You guys should be moving on to Mass Effect or Dragon Age.
I see too much potential in this franchise.
I could not disagree more with those people.
Yes, I see too much potential in this franchise.
I'm really happy they're doing this. Because
I am too.
I think this is something... BioWare, first of all, I think needs to do this, and EA probably realizes this. EA needs to do this for their image.
Yes,
they need to rehabilitate this game in order to rehabilitate their own image as a company.
Yes.
Because this game irreparably damaged them. Like, Mass Effect Andromeda was the start, but this game was the finish of them kind of destroying their own reputation.
This game, honestly, it had an effect on everybody. Like, all their studios, because everyone's looking at every studio under EA's conglomerate with a fine-tooth comb now. We're all everyone's looking at DICE now, where DICE is now taking breaks off making Battlefield because they want to make it good now.
Right.
I think even to a certain extent, Respawn, even though they have the blank check right now, in my opinion, they're still under scrutiny or under a fine magnifying glass, because we're looking at them too. Like, hey, even though you guys are doing good, like, how much are you doing good because of EA? Like, they're probably looking at themselves how we look at them now. They're like, man, they just think we're like the big bad wolf. And Respawn is this, this rebellious child who's actually doing good in school, but we just hate the way he looks. And BioWare was that one person that was the good one, but now it's not. And Honestly, them remaking Anthem is a huge deal. It will be a huge boost to them. We don't need that BioWare magic shit. They need to take it slow. They need to make sure that people properly get paid. There isn't any they need to do mental health checks. I am also excited about, well, I don't know if you mentioned it already, about the new Mass Effect.
Oh, no. At the end of this article, he throws a little nugget in there that he has sources that have confirmed that a new Mass Effect is in very, very early development, which doesn't surprise me. It's also makes me happy because I thought Andromeda had killed this franchise.
Yes, because I really want you to play that game when you get a chance.
I gotta get around to it, but
it has a lot of interesting concepts.
It's gonna happen next year, probably.
Yeah. I think so. I think both games, right, have potential. Andromeda had potential, especially with its combat. The combat was fucking phenomenal. Everything else was
that excites me about it because Mass Effect. It was always the opposite.
The
combat in Mass Effect wasn't really that good.
Yeah, combat's fucking phenomenal. The game's really fluent.
Yeah,
in every aspect. It's just everything else around it sucks.
Yeah.
And Anthem unfortunately suffers from that same thing. They put all their eggs in one basket, which is the combat and the flight, and everything else around it sucks. So I think they're going to come from both philosophies for both games, and they're going to be like, okay, we have the groundwork. People really love the combat in Andromeda. People really love the combat in Anthem. Can we just make stuff surrounding that? We spent a lot of time making that, but we need to make stuff surrounding that. And I feel like both games are going to come out really good. I'm really, really excited and positive about it.
Dude, they have, according to this article, they have like 100+ developers working on Anthem between both studios right now. Like between Edmonton and Austin.
Yeah.
They have like 100 people working on
They should, man.
Anthem. So they're already dedicated to this. It's really early. They said that nothing's really concrete.
Oh yeah, I'm not expecting
now.
anything until new consoles.
Right. I think at least a year is bare minimum I would expect before we even hear anything about this.
Yeah.
Again, but I don't know. This is positive for me. This is really positive. It's weird how EA has handled this whole situation because
they have maneuvered pretty weirdly.
Right, but I think they've done a good job overall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's been weird that they've been maneuvering so well despite the storm. I
think the only problem is the way they handled post-launch for Anthem was really poor. There was very little communication. Yeah. The game, the last several months, the game just appeared dead. Like it felt like they were abandoning it.
I think they took too long to step in. They let BioWare
flounder.
They let BioWare try to take their own helm for a minute, and then they had to step in.
And they seemed to not want to do it. It seemed like they wanted to abandon this game, and I think EA might have stepped in and been like, "No, you're not abandoning this game. Put people on it now and fix it."
Yeah, which is weird from EA, in my opinion. I thought they would have just canned it.
I think they looked at this game. They probably if they objectively looked at it and just took an outside view of it, like what you're saying, the game has potential. It's solid enough in its core to, if you fix the story and fix the level design and make the game world a little bit bigger and less it's because they're saying here they're gonna break the map up probably into multiple sections.
Yeah,
it's not just one big map anymore.
Yeah,
which that's gonna allow them to do more stuff with those individual maps.
Yeah.
So that it will be more interesting. It could be more intricate because of that. So, they probably recognize that there could be a good game here if you really tried.
Yeah, we all saw it. We saw the potential. We saw the mountains of lore they had for the game.
Right.
And it was very interesting. And it's we wanted. One part that sticks out to me is when you go through the simulation of playing that general. I think her name was Tarsis.
Yeah.
And you played through her defending the last city or some shit like that. And that was just I'm like, man, this is a really cool build up for a game. But then everything falls flat. But anyway, that point though. I think a lot of either the execs are looking at that or a lot of EA is just looking at that and like, hey, this game has a lot of potential. They're probably looking at the active players and people are probably still playing this game.
Yeah.
And they're probably like, yeah, this has the potential to be the Destiny killer or whatever. Destiny killed itself.
Yeah.
But
maybe morph it into something else. It doesn't have to be
yeah,
Destiny.
Yeah.
Morph it into its own thing. I think they can do that.
And
too.
I think also, too, I have to give Destiny his credit. I think they've seen what Destiny has done with themselves, how they turned that game completely around, and it's a hit. a lot of people love Destiny 2 now. So they're like, why can't we do that with our game?
Right.
So, I mean, maybe they did look at Final Fantasy Around Reborn and it was like, that game's a hit too. It's really popular. They turned that around. Why can't we do this with our games?
Yeah.
So they're seeing I know it's just cash for them, but they're seeing the biggest monetary gain from this game, and we're seeing the gameplay.
Right.
It's
It's the 8th best-selling game of the year.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a slouch. It sold a lot of copies. They have a huge player base they can still tap into.
Yep.
If they can do things right. So as down as we were on BioWare several months ago, I'm feeling a lot better about them going forward.
See, guys, we
right
can
now.
be positive.
Right. Like, I know it's just like
We give criticism when criticism
a
is
new
due.
Mass Effect game, a new Dragon Age game, and then fixing Anthem. I think that's a good lineup for them to be working on right now, and that excites me. It does.
Yeah.
So, I hope something good comes of it, and the fact that I think Edmonton's probably working on the Mass Effect game, which is good, since Montreal got shut down. So.
Well, Edmonton was the one who did all the BioWare magic shit.
Right.
Yeah.
They're the ones who made the Mass Effect games. So
Yeah.
we'll see what comes of it, I guess.
I mean, but one could argue that was luck. All those Mass Effect games were luck.
Possible. I
Yeah.
doubt it though. Like considering
Inquisition,
how
considering
quickly
Inquisition.
they made those games, it's
Yeah.
crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all right, let's move on. Next story. Xbox. Xbox. What do they call it?
Inside Xbox.
Inside Xbox. I always forget what theirs is. That happened last week. So you wanted to talk about this. Were there any specific announcements, I guess, from this that you wanted to speak to?
Well, I guess I don't know if I mentioned on a podcast earlier, but one of the very first strategic games I started playing, or isometric strategic games on PC, was the Age of Empires game. Before I started playing StarCraft, I played Age of Empires, and they got Age of Empires 4 coming out, so I'm really excited about that.
Yep.
I know it's not a big deal to a lot of people, but I mean, this was like a childhood game for me, and they did actually show like a trailer of people playing it on like the box computers, and I started playing on like the box computers and shit like that.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. So I thought that was really cool. They did tap into my nostalgia, and it got me. Another thing, I do like the Crossfire gameplay that they had coming out. It's like it looks like more of a Counter-Strike-ish type game.
Yeah.
With destructive environments. I'm really looking forward to that because I really want another Counter-Strike type game. Like I really love Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
And that's why I saw the potential in another game. Oh, and Modern Warfare, but I feel like it's going to be more of the same with Modern Warfare.
Right.
Another thing I thought was very interesting, doesn't really apply to me because I already have the games, is for the first time they're bringing all the Kingdom Hearts games.
Hearts, yep. And then Final Fantasy's joining Xbox Game Pass.
Yes.
As well.
So
they're also bringing Yakuza.
Oh, yeah, the Yakuza franchise. Yep. Well, I thought was very, I thought they were going to release Final Fantasy 14. I'm like, oh shit, Xbox finally get Final Fantasy 14, but I think they got an exclusive deal with Sony, so I don't think Final Fantasy 14 is coming to Xbox. Cause you can tell they probably wanted to bring to Xbox, but they probably got some kind of deal with Sony. It's like, nah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
They also announced Wasteland 3 is coming in May 2020, which is from
some of the original creators.
Exile.
Yeah, some of the original creators of Fallout.
Right, are working on that game. Rare announced I think a new game.
Yeah,
they announced Everwild, right?
Yeah, and the trailer looks pretty weird. They didn't really show too much. They just showed them like going through the forest, looking like they're hunting animals, but they didn't have any equipment to hunt. So I don't know what kind of game it's going to be.
Right.
But it was 4 people every time, so I'm assuming it's going to be a 4-player
multiplayer
co-op game. I'm assuming it's going to be like kind of Monster Hunter-ish, but the monsters that they showed didn't look like Monster Hunter vicious monsters. So I'm curious to see what it's going to be like. They're still continuing support for Sea of Thieves, which I thought was pretty interesting.
They are. Yeah.
From what I'm hearing now from that people who still play that game, the community, I did visit the Reddit to see what people thought about it, and people are loving it. It from release, it was pretty rough, but constant updates to the game.
That's how this usually goes. It seems. They also Obsidian also announced a new game called Grounded. It's going to be a survival game.
It looks like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
But it's going to have some RPG mechanics apparently.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting announcement from them as well.
And then I guess the last takeaway I had from this was, Master Chief Collection we already knew was coming to PC, but we're also getting Halo Reach to come with that, which is very popular.
That's cool. That's very cool.
A lot of people. I didn't know that game was so popular because I really didn't enjoy that game. But
The concept of that game's story always intrigued me.
The story, I think, is the same thing that happened with Fallen Order. They just played it too safe.
Really?
They should have went like way overboard with this shit. I mean, people die, but it's not like dramatic because you kind of expect it all.
All right. Any other takeaways?
No. I just think this was kind of, in my opinion, this was kind of weak.
Yeah.
We didn't really see too much from the 15 studios they acquired. They had some pretty good indies lined up.
Obsidian they had in there, and then In Exile they had.
And then they had one from Ninja Theory,
right?
Which was like a team-based.
They're waiting, dude.
I think they're waiting.
Like, dude, I think E3 next year for them is going to be
fucking huge.
Insane.
Yeah,
it's going to be the biggest E3 they've probably ever done. Like, that's kind of where I think they're at this point.
All right. That's all I got.
All right, moving on. Next story. So this one's fun. So Grinding Gear Games, the developers of Path of Exile, apparently, I didn't know this was a thing, had hosted ExileCon last week. And
they have their own conference?
Yes, in New Zealand. These guys are based out of New Zealand. And they announced Path of Exile 2. And they showed a lot of gameplay, 15 minutes or so, I think.
They had a live stream of the game on their actual YouTube.
Yeah, after the conference, they did that. Yeah, so there's a lot of gameplay out there already. They talked about this game is going to be developed side by side with the original Path of Exile. They're not quitting on Path of Exile. That game will continue to be developed for, apparently.
Okay.
This game will have a 7-act storyline and a whole bunch of new features that they mentioned. I'm not going to go through each one specifically.
Is it still free to play, or
they didn't mention that? I'm going to assume it is.
Man, I really hope it's a retail game.
But I kind of want it to be a box game.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that their game revolves around a cosmetic store. It's just, I don't know. It's just a weird thing in an ARPG to have. Like, for me, I prefer the Grim Dawn model where you buy the game and you have the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, to their credit, they don't withhold content behind money for the most part.
Yeah. I heard it's very it's not very egregious.
No.
No.
But with the gameplay demo, because I know you watched it, I watched the whole thing as well.
Yeah.
What did you think?
It was way better than Diablo 4.
So I'm
it looks way flashier than Diablo 4.
Yeah, I kind of don't. I don't know if I fully agree. I think it looks good. It looks very good. I as harsh as I was on Diablo 4, I'm still pretty positive about it overall.
Yeah.
This game I'm a little bit more skeptical of from a design standpoint because this game's skill system is based around gems. It's not really based around your character per se.
Okay.
So, and that's going to continue in Path of Exile 2. And their skill tree, they have a skill tree, but it's all passive skills. Like it's plus 50 health, plus, whatever agility.
Okay,
like
so you don't really unlock moves.
You don't unlock moves through the skill tree. So you customize your character by getting skill gems and then putting those on your gear. They are changing this system where you're going to be able to put it on your gear, but it's not tied to the specific gear piece. It's tied to the slot the gear goes in. So it's tied to your chest slot, your belt slot, your boot slot.
Okay.
So when you take a piece of gear off, you don't have to switch the gems around. The same gems will be in that slot.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's a huge quality of life change. But I will say, I've played Path of Exile, but I think I'm gonna check this out whenever it comes out. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I played a little bit of Path of Exile too. I know my friend was trying to tell me to get into it. I just want it to be a box game though. I think that's my biggest takeaway from it. I really like some of the classes they showed.
Yeah.
And some of the animations the classes had. I just really want it to be where I don't have to pay for anything. I don't want to have to pay to win.
Right. Which I don't think you're gonna have to. But
yeah.
I think aesthetically the game looks good. It kind of looks like Diablo
Yeah, it does look kind of darker than the last game.
It does. Yeah. So, they got the aesthetic down. The character movement looked good.
Yeah.
The animations look really fluid. I think the game looks really solid to play.
Yeah, yeah.
To me, which was impressive. So, I think they said this game is not coming next year. It's probably going to be 2021.
That's good.
So,
I mean,
it's just funny that this was like such a shot across the bow directly at Blizzard.
It was
like 2 weeks after Blizzard announces Diablo 4, they do this.
And I think they're going to tap into that fan base, man. They're definitely going to tap into that fan base.
Well, they already have.
Yeah.
Blizzard's probably lost a huge amount of market share in the RPG space because of how badly they screwed up Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Like, this game in particular is one that has eaten away at their market share for sure. Even Grim Dawn to a lesser extent. That game's not huge, but it's sold at least 1.5 million copies at this point, probably 2 million.
That's still huge for a 10-man team.
For a team their size, that is an insane hit.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That game has funded their development for years, probably.
Yeah.
Future projects. So, So Blizzard's got work to do there. I'm just interested to see how these two games stack up against each other.
It is going to be very interesting.
Because I'm going to play both of them.
I think in the end, though, we win. Like, the consumers win because they're going to have to put their best foot forward.
Dude, this genre right now is just fucking on fire. Like, dude, ARPGs, it's funny because from about 2002 to
they died for a minute.
2012, they were dead. Titan Quest was the only one that came out in that period, really, that was of any consequence.
And I'll do you one even more. This may be controversial opinion, but I think Anthem's an ARPG.
Yeah, we said that.
Yeah, and I think it's going to tap into that Diablo market.
Yeah.
I think it is. If it comes out and it's really good, I think they might go that actual Diablo route.
Yeah. I just love this genre's expanding, though, in a way. Like, we're seeing real innovation here. With these games. Like, Grim Dawn is innovative in the way its progression systems and stuff, and in gear even. And Path of Exile, though, is truly different from all these other games. Its design is so different from Grim Dawn, from Diablo, from Titan Quest, from all the ones before. It's just so different. Like I said, the skill system is very complicated, but it's like so different. The fact that you get your skills through gems that you put in gear, it just makes character. It's not something I jive with, but I appreciate what they're doing.
Doing with it,
Yeah. So, it'll be an exciting game, I guess. All right. Let's move on. October NPD numbers came out, and boy, this is an interesting one. So total sales, video game sales for October 2019 were 1.03 billion, down from last year 1.57 billion. That is a 34% drop in overall video game sales. Video game hardware was down from 307 million last year to 182 million this year. That is a 41% drop. That is bonkers, dude. Like, we are seeing the precipitous drop off at the end of a generation.
I think people are tired of this generation.
Right, dude. I kind of think they fucked up.
Yeah, I think people were tired.
I think the timing was this year.
The beginning of this generation was terrible, and it's kind of its fall off is right now.
I think they overextended here, and I think these numbers are clear in that. Is that I think they thought this would last 7 years, like the
last generation,
right? And I think 6 is the number, and I think they should have released this year. Like it, maybe the games aren't ready. The games wouldn't have been lined up properly, and maybe they weren't particularly ready. But this is like, dude, I mean, a 34% drop off in the entire industry's revenue that's crazy, dude. That is really crazy.
Honestly, let's think about it for a minute. Let's go through the events. We had a huge war between consumers and manufacturers, or content creators rather, for microtransactions and things of that nature. That war is still actually raging on to this day. Mm-hmm. We had legislation step in. Not only that, we had political political lean tie-ins and things of that nature.
Right.
On top of that, I say, in my opinion, it was a really weak console release for the beginning of the console generation.
Yeah.
Like the game lineups are really weak.
Right. And it took years for them to get good.
Exactly. And then when they finally came out, a lot of them still, even though they were really good, had glitches. I think there's only a couple of games I can think of that didn't really have any major hiccups.
Right.
Like I think God of War is one of those games that came out was really kind of almost flawless to a T.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, I really can't think of any too many games.
Bloodborne.
Oh, Bloodborne, yeah. Bloodborne was one. I think the loading times were killing people with that game.
Witcher,
yeah.
Witcher was very good.
Yeah.
On that front.
Then on top of that, a lot of the trends in games were falling out. So you got Call of Duty, who had to revamp its formula.
Which that worked though.
That worked.
We're gonna get into that in a second.
Yeah. Then you had the birth of Battle Royale games, where that trend came and went. I think it's slowly dissipating, even though Fortnite is still going strong. But other things have dropped off and came and went. Like this generation has just been really fucking weird. Like really fucking weird from the point to where you're right. They should have released the consoles this year, because I think a lot of people now are just looking and just waiting now.
Well, years ago in 2016 or 2015, no, 2016 probably, 2017, I was of a mind that the consoles were coming in 2019. I really believed that back then. I thought that year made so much sense. I just thought, dude, a 7th year for a console generation is a lot to ask for, because you've gotten to the point where you have, I think by 6 years, you've probably hit close to peak market saturation with your hardware, you know?
Yeah, not only that, but the hardware in these consoles weren't really good.
Right, they weren't. They're not, and they're getting exposed the longer this goes on.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, as I said, I'm a huge. I complain about this every week. I fucking hate the PS4 Pro. I'm so sick and tired of this damn console. Like I was saying, Fallen Order is fucking frame rate drops in that game. You know, it's it's just gotten out of control, in my opinion, with what they're trying. Like, developers want to do more. They're ready to do more. It's very clear that they're ready to do more, and the hardware just can't facilitate that right now.
Yeah,
it's
they
frustrating
need to do something
for
about
me
it.
as a gamer. You know, so this next year is going to be interesting. There's a lot of great games, but I think in terms of, like, once we get past May, dude, like,
a lot of these games that are coming out should have came out maybe 2 years ago.
Right.
In my opinion.
Yeah. But I think after May, like, you're going to see an even bigger drop off with these numbers.
Oh yeah.
Because there's nothing coming out after May.
Yeah, everything's new consoles.
Yeah, everything's going to be on the console launch. So that period between May and November is going to be a dead zone.
And that would be a perfect time for me to catch up.
Right. Which is, it's great for us, but in terms of sales, though, it's going to be bad.
Oh yeah. I think even after E3, you're going to see a huge drop off.
Right. All right, let's do the 20. This is the 20 best-selling games in order for October. Number 1, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. No surprise there. The Outer Worlds. Luigi's Mansion 3. Big ups to Nintendo there.
That's really huge.
Right, number 3.
Number 3.
On the list for the month. Yeah, and the game was out for a single fucking day. It came out on the 31st of October.
Oh, shit, you're right.
Yeah. So, number 3 on the list despite that. Madden NFL 20, number 4. NBA 2K20, number 5. Tom Clancy's Rainbow. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. WWE 2K20, number 7. Number 8 is FIFA 20. Number 9, Borderlands 3. Number 10, Ring Fit Adventure.
That's surprising.
Wait, what?
That's surprising.
God, that's weird. Nintendo is weird, dude.
And they sell, bro.
I don't understand. Number 11, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Number 12, Mario Kart 8. Wow,
oh my
that's
God,
crazy.
this game's still selling.
Well, yeah, the next 3 are like that. Number 13 is Minecraft.
Oh
Number 14, Grand Theft Auto 5.
How?
Number 15, Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh my God.
Number 16, Overwatch. Number 17, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 18, Code Vein, still on the list, baby.
Oh my God.
Number 19, Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 20,
you
Legend
fucking
of Zelda,
degenerates.
Breath of the Wild. And then for the year, top 10 best-selling games of the year for 2019, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, number 1. Number 2 is NBA 2K20. Number 3 is Madden NFL 20. Number 4, Borderlands 3. And number 5, Mortal Kombat 11. Sad Mortal Kombat. They were number 1 for so long this year. Number 6, Kingdom Hearts 3. Number 7, Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Number 8, Anthem. Number 9, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is crazy because that game came out last year. And number 10, Grand Theft Auto 5, which is crazy because that game came out 6 years ago. It's ridiculous, dude. Oh, my God. And then the 10 best-selling games of the last 12 months, number 1 is Red Dead Redemption 2, which is interesting. They sold a lot of that game in a very short time frame last year.
And they just released it on PC as well.
Yeah, but it's nowhere to be seen on any of these top lists for the month or 2019. So
wow, Anthem is still up there as a 10 top selling game.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's number 8.
That game really sold a lot. Holy shit.
Yep.
I didn't realize that. I mean, I knew it sold a lot, but holy fuck.
And Call of Duty is as strong as ever.
Yeah, I mean that worked for them. That formula switch up.
It just never ends. They like I don't understand it. I just I can't wrap my head around it.
Well, this game
series.
Well, this game I will say is a lot better than the previous games. They have limited microtransactions and more unlockables for different objectives and stuff that you can do, like the old Modern Warfare game.
Right.
So they did grab a lot of nostalgia with that. They grabbed me with that. But to your point, I don't know how this game sells. I don't know how the other games sold. I think it's a real casual game. Anyone can pick up this game and play it. Like, if you haven't, I've seen people who haven't played video games at all pick up and play this game, and they love it because it's really just that easy.
Yeah.
Pick up, shoot, and go about your business. That's it.
Yeah. Well, they got something. They're doing something right.
Yeah.
Clearly. All right, let's move on. Next story, or this is the last story, actually. Valve has announced a new VR title, and it is a Half-Life game called Half-Life Alyx. And this set the internet ablaze very quickly.
I really just need you guys to get over it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so people are very upset.
Valve's in a different spot. Please explain to them how Valve's in a different headspace.
We've talked about this, I think, very early in the podcast run, that Valve is just not a game developer anymore.
They're not. They don't have to be.
You guys have to get out of this headset. They're going to make Half-Life 3 for you. They're not.
Yeah, it's done.
There have been rumors that they've tried and that they've started projects, but guess what? They don't, like Montrell just said, they have no necessity. There's no imperative for them to ever make that game. There's no imperative for them to make any game because they have 2 cash cows that will keep them afloat in perpetuity. Steam and being Dota. Number 1 and Dota being number 2. Dota much less so, but Steam, I mean, like, until the Epic Game Store just fully takes over, Steam's here. And until that goes away, Valve never has to do anything. They can literally do nothing.
They literally aren't doing anything. Look at Epic Game Store grabbing exclusives after exclusives, and Steam's just like, okay.
They don't release games. The last game they released was Artifact. And before that, what was the last game they released before that? Was it Dota 2?
I think you're right. I think they just want to get out. I think they want to get out. I think the company really wants to go a different direction. That's weird to say, but just their actions. They're speaking
it's
like
15 years of this. They're like, ugh, enough.
Yeah,
we don't want to sell games to you anymore.
They're like a spouse, right, in a marriage who's just like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. Divorce me, please. You did what? You cheated on me? I'm not going to I'll take you back, but I don't fucking care. Do what you want to do, bro. Just do what you want to do. Yeah. That's what they are. Like, Epic Game Store is like, hey, I'm taking your wife and sleeping with her. And he's like, I don't care.
They're like, great. I hope you're president real well.
Yeah, and then she just keeps coming back. He's like, I don't have the balls to say no, but I just want you to go. I just want to leave. And like, I feel like that's what Steam or Valve in general is doing. Like, they keep. Like, to me, they knew what they were doing when they released this Half-Life VR game. They knew it was going to be a slap in the fucking face.
The internet, dude.
Yes.
You know what's funny? The article I have in the story is unironically says that it's really exciting. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What? Bro, like, are you fucking blind? Like, fucking 15-year sequel people are waiting for, and they fucking do this.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Like what? Like what? Ugh, God, Valve.
They don't care. Like
they don't. No. They want to
me-
make their little. They want to make their own little fucking VR headset. They want to make the Steam box. They want to make.
It seems like they want to move into technology.
Yeah, they do, but they're not good at it. They're not. The Steam Link is like it's just whatever. Who even cares about the Steam Link? The Steam controller is just an ugly ass.
Oh yeah, that's just terrible.
God, that thing looks like the Xbox original controller. Like. And then there was the Steam boxes, which were dude, they do this whole thing with the Steam boxes, and then they don't even make them themselves, you know?
Yeah, what was that? That was
so
so weird.
Such a terrible initiative. Like, I don't understand this company. Like, I don't.
Nobody understands this fucking
right,
company.
But I think we all have to come to an agreement here that they're just not a game developer anymore. Like,
I don't think people want to accept that. People are holding on to what's his name, Gordon?
Move on, Gordon Freeman. Yeah, move on, guys. Move on. Gordon's gone. Everybody.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all.
Long gone.
Yeah, it's kind of like with Xbox and Master Chief. They won't let that franchise die. At least they keep trying.
Yeah.
But Valve was just like, yeah, we're done. We're done with it. It's over. I mean, I don't know how Steam is not a look at the nail in the coffin for everyone. Like, they're letting Valve, people are begging Steam, like, hey, Steam, please take some exclusives. And they're like, man, okay. Yeah, we don't care. You can take it.
Yeah, whatever.
You want The Witcher?
We're disappointed that they, hurt our pre-order customers. Okay.
Yeah, you want Division 2?
On.
You want Division 2? Take it. You want Borderlands 3? Take it. We don't care.
It's less games we have to support.
We just don't care.
Right.
Hey, you want some more games? They probably at Epic's door like, hey, you want some more? Do you want this fan base,
bro?
Do you want this consumer base?
Take the community, man.
We can't have it anymore.
Take them.
This is how you know. To me, when a company does this, and this is not saying anything about anybody, but when a company does this, they really just don't give a fuck anymore. They allow porn in this shit. They're like, hey. You want to play porn here?
Yeah, those visual novels that are like borderline pedophile-ish.
Yeah. You want a hentai on there?
There was like was it Rape Game or whatever it
was?
They almost it was like people were debating if they were going to let that on the platform or not. Like, they ultimately didn't, but it's funny that we're not sure. Like, that's how laissez-faire they are about it.
Yeah, they just don't fucking care. Yeah. They do not care. And I don't understand how people don't see this. Like, people are up in arms about Half-Life and these games and these hentai games, and they just like, please get us out of it. Kill me, please. Just shoot me in the head, please. Can you? You're not going to? Okay, we're still here, guys. We're still in this game. I think Gabe is just done. Gabe's just sitting up there like, yo, I don't fucking care.
Gaben's just like, man, dude, I don't have to do anything, bro. I can just sit here. The internet loves me. Why would I do anything? I'm just gonna ruin my image.
I have so much money.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Man. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, man. He just doesn't care.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care either. If I had that much money, I just wouldn't care.
We feel sorry for you guys, though. You Half-Life fans out there.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I do apologize. Half-Life 2 is overhyped, though.
Wow.
Put that out there.
He snuck that in there.
No.
Why did you sneak that in there? Hold on. You're just not going to slide past that.
Dude, it's just a shooter, bro. It's not that,
Whoa.
Fucking...
I mean, I don't really get it either, but
what it is.
I played it late, so maybe it was like a thing at the time.
No, I played it at the time.
You played it at the time?
It's fine.
It's just fine?
It was fine. I mean, yes, it was gorgeous. It moved gaming forward. I'll say that much. But as a game,
people talk about Half-Life 2 like it's just
a shooter, dude.
Like it can't be touched.
I mean,
you should see his face.
I say that about old games too, and I'm wrong probably. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You're wrong too. Like, we got nostalgia goggles. I understand the concept.
Yeah.
This game was formative for your childhood or your adolescent years.
Was the story groundbreaking or anything?
Not particularly. Like, it it's very straightforward up until the end of the game, and then some crazy shit happens at the end of the game.
Okay.
And it gets really meta and like philosophical, and I think that's why people like it so much. It's like the Matrix almost.
So is it like almost like the first Deus Ex Machina,
Yeah,
the original one?
I didn't play that.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know, but at the end of the game, you like there's some guy shows up, starts talking to you, and like puts you in an alternate dimension to talk to you, and just weird shit starts happening.
Okay.
And it's very, very strange.
And they left it on a cliffhanger, I'm assuming?
Yes, they did. Yes, they
okay.
did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, whatever. Get over it, guys.
Maybe they don't have the same writers anymore.
Move on. There are games that tell good stories out there. Just play them, like God of War
or Mass Effect.
Mass Effect.
I'm still surprised. I mean, people have not played that franchise.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Last normal segment of the day. Game releases. There's a lot of games coming out this week. Nothing big really. Shenmue 3, Civilization 6 is coming out on PS4. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts. But nothing too crazy here this week. We've gotten through the major releases of the year. There's a Munchkin game based on the card game.
Ooh.
Yeah. Or the board game, whatever you want to call it. So that's interesting. Football Manager 2020.
Oh, can't wait for that. Whoa.
But yeah, quiet week. It's gonna be quiet probably for the rest of the year, I would say. So all right, let's move on to last thing of the day. So guys, the day of posting of this podcast is a week before Black Friday. I am personally a avid Black Friday participant. I don't know about Montrell. Are you?
I
depends
used to.
on the year.
It depends on the year. Right? Yeah.
So we're gonna go through here and give you guys a short primer, I guess, of the best deals that most of the major retailers and companies are having this year. So let's just jump right into it. So first place, I have Sony and Xbox. They have their own deals that they're running. Sony's nothing crazy. Well, there's one thing I want to call out here. They have a 1 terabyte PS4 Pro for $299.
Ooh.
That they're doing. That is the cheapest price I've ever seen the Pro. I've never seen it go below really $350 for the most part.
I haven't either.
It's generally speaking hard to get and is usually full price. So this is a good deal. This is directly from Sony's website. If you want to purchase that, they also have the $199 PS4 regular PS4, the PS4 Slim bundle that comes with God of War, Horizon digitally, and then it comes with The Last of Us. I think physically, The Last of Us remastered. So those are 3 great games, but that bundle is not super impressive. It's similar to the Spider-Man one we had last year. So I was kind of hoping for a $150 bundle.
Okay.
But this is kind of a ubiquitous bundle throughout all of the retailers. Everybody seems to have this same bundle, like this 3-game bundle for $200. Like everyone has this. I don't think anybody's doing anything special on this front. So if you're looking for an interesting one, I would go for the Pro.
Okay.
On here. So anything jumping out to you on Sony?
Probably a PS4 Pro. That's about it.
Right. And then Xbox. Let's see. They're doing $150 off of Xbox One consoles. So it looks like the S, I think, is similarly going to be $200. But their website's a little bit more poorly laid out here.
Yeah, it's not.
Right.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad, honestly.
They got $20 off controllers. That's not really a great deal, unfortunately. And then they said 65% off Xbox One digital games. So I'm going to assume you're going to have to go to the store to specifically see those.
Yeah, their bundles are pretty bad. Look at the price.
Right.
Everything's $500.
Yeah.
You get a game with it, but that's about it. It's 1 terabyte. But I don't know if you get gold or anything with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to look and see if you get that.
Doesn't look like it.
No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, no, you do get a 1-month trial of Game Pass.
Nice.
and you do get a 1 month trial of Gold, so you do get those for free.
Okay.
You get the Xbox Elite controller, you get a charge kit, but I mean, like that's like standard stuff, I believe. So something really like super special.
Yeah, nothing super special there. All right.
Yeah, so the better deal is definitely the PlayStation 4.
Right. Let's move to Target. So Target's got some interesting deals. They have games from this year that are $15. Kingdom Hearts 3, Resident Evil 2, The Division 2, Crash, I think it's Crash Team Racing, on Switch, and then Crash Insane Trilogy, and then also Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. So generally speaking, these Nintendo games are hard to obtain at the this cheap. Those are pretty good deals though. Like Kingdom Hearts 3 for $15, dude. Like you're not gonna get a better deal than that.
Yeah,
really.
I would rather see the collection for like the story so far collection.
Yeah,
$15.
yeah,
I would buy that again.
right. But yeah, Division 2, $15. Resident Evil 2, $15. You're not gonna get a better price than that.
Yeah, you're right. Games. Yeah.
So if you're looking to buy those games, this is the time to do it.
I think their 25 and over deal is way better, in my opinion.
Well, what games specifically?
Like Control for $25.
Yep, that's the best price I've seen for Control.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
I don't know what this other game is here. I can't really see it.
Well, if you click into it, you'll.
Okay.
You can actually see the full list of games.
That's NASCAR Heat. Ugh. But you can get Overwatch just got released
on Switch.
Switch, and it's $25. I think the really thing I'm looking at is Super Monkey Ball and Spyro collection.
Yeah.
Because I don't have neither one of those, and I really want to. I probably want to get both of those actually.
Right. They also have Zelda and Mario Odyssey for $30.
Really?
Which is, I mean, that's a good deal. Like you're not.
That is a really good deal.
You're not gonna get these games that cheap generally, unless you're buying them used. So
that Judgment game is really good. It's the same people who made Yakuza. They made that game.
Right.
I think. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
They have Catherine for full body on PS4 for $30. I believe we'll get there in a minute, but I believe Best Buy has that game for $25.
Okay.
So
Mortal Kombat's $30. Why the fuck is Fallout? Okay, not even
Fallout 76 is $30. Don't buy that game.
Don't buy that game, please.
God, that game was $20 3 weeks after release. I don't understand why this is a deal. Ugh.
Rage 2. Well, that game should be cheaper too. I think Rage 2 should be like $15 at GameStop probably.
Right. That's a bad deal.
Yeah.
Even Red Dead at $30 is probably a bad deal. I will say they're 35s. I don't think this is a good deal. I want to say Best Buy also has better deals for this, but they have Gears 5 for $35, Monster Hunter World Iceborne, the Master Edition that comes with the base game for $35.
Okay.
They also have Borderlands 3 for $35, and then Need for Speed Heat for $35, which is a game that came out like last week.
Yeah, the 35 deal is definitely the better deal.
But I think Best Buy has them beat on these, so we'll get there in a second.
Okay.
They also have Call of Duty Modern Warfare for $45.
That's really good.
Right, so if you wanted that game, I mean, it's $15 off.
So what about the consoles though? Do they have any console deals?
In terms of they have the $200 PS4 Slim deal that I was mentioning. It's the same deal. You'll have this at any retailer you go to. They have controllers, PS4 and Xbox One for $39.99. This seems standard as well that I've noticed throughout all these ads. This is not a great deal. Last year, I believe they had these controllers at lower prices. I want to say they were $30 at Walmart for PS4 controllers.
Yeah, they were. Yep.
So I'm not sure what happened this year with this. This is a really disappointing deal for me. I like $40 for a controller is not a great price.
Well,
particularly
here
this deep in the generation.
They have a doorbuster, and I don't know when that ends. But for the Xbox One X, you can get it for $350 instead of $500 on the original Xbox site.
Right.
And you get a $40 gift card, and you get Gears 5 with that.
That's a good price.
That's a good deal.
You're not going to get this thing. This is similar to the Pro, the PS4 Pro. This thing is generally not discounted very often.
Yeah.
This is the lowest I think I've ever seen the Xbox One X.
Yeah, it is.
So pretty good. Also, PSVR. This was on Sony's site as well as $199. It comes with a bunch of games. If you're into that, this is probably the time to get it.
If you're looking to get a new laptop, they have a gaming laptop for $900.
Man, I don't know what the specs on that thing are though. I don't trust these places for stuff like that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you want to get like a little gaming laptop, I know a lot of people don't like building stuff, so. It looks like it has an NVIDIA GTX 1650.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Walmart. So their deals. So they also have the $199 PS4 bundle. Again, as I said, they have a $149 digital 1 terabyte Xbox One S all digital edition. So this one does not play discs. It looks like, I'm gonna assume. And then they have a $199 Jedi Fallen Order Xbox One X, Xbox One S, which I've seen at multiple retailers as well. That seems like a pretty normal deal. They also have the $350 Xbox One X with Gears deal as well. I don't think it comes with a gift card here though, so Target might be the better place for that.
Yeah, Target is definitely the better place so far.
There's also this bundle I'm seeing with the Switch, $299, that comes with Mario Kart 8. This is not a deal. Like, this is a terrible, this is a horrific deal. I can't believe
this is standard Nintendo.
we're 2.5 years into the lifespan of this thing, and you can't even get a fucking discount on this thing on Black Friday.
They don't want to, man.
It's
What about their games, though?
absurd. So Walmart with games, so Modern Warfare at Walmart, this is the lowest price probably, $38 for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That is an insanely good price. And then $30 for, these are games that were $35 at Target. Need for Speed Heat, $30. Borderlands 3, Gears 5, Monster Hunter World Iceborne Master Edition. All of those are $30 at Walmart. So that's the lowest price.
And they have a bigger collection of games that are 30. I just looked at it. Holy
Right.
shit.
If you actually go to their website, there's a very large list of games that this pricing applies to. And then this is also the lowest. I don't like they seem to always have the best deals at Walmart for gaming on Black Friday. But WWE 2K20, Madden 20, FIFA 20, NBA 2K20, all $27. That is the lowest price you're going to find them anywhere at this time, particularly on Black Friday for this. So pretty good deals there. Let's see what else we got here. So Target would be the place to go for these games. They have Kingdom Hearts 3 in Division 2 for $20 at Walmart. So if you want those, go to Target.
Yeah, they got Devil May Cry, Resident Evil 2 for $20, Days Gone for $20.
Right.
Division 2 for $20. Man, they got a lot of good games. And it's a lot of Switch games too.
But yeah, Target had Division 2 for $15.
Okay.
So
okay.
go there for that. And same with Kingdom Hearts 3. Their $15 section though, at Walmart is very interesting. They have Spider-Man, the Game of the Year edition for $15 on PS4.
Yikes. That's
That
really good.
is an amazing deal if you haven't played this game. Like the season pass costs more than that on PSN. Like the season pass for this game is $25. So
it's also a good opportunity for you to get some rare games like the Ocarina of Time for your 3DS. Still get that.
That's $15. Super Mario 3D Land.
Yep.
A bunch of Lego games on Switch too.
If you're a fan of those. They got the Crash games for $15. I don't know why Overwatch is even here.
All right, they have Witcher 3 as well for $15.
Well, I mean, I guess that would be standard price for Witcher 3 right now, pretty much.
Yeah.
God of War for $15, and Horizon Zero Dawn, and The Last of Us for $15.
That's really good.
That's all I see though.
Right. Yeah. So Walmart's usually pretty good, pretty reliable for Black Friday deals. All right, let's go to Best Buy. So they're a little bit more confusing. Their site, they don't actually put the ad out there, but they have a number of. Let's see. Let me get to them. They had some really good deals though that I saw. They have Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night on Switch for $20. That is a game I'm going to be targeting. I'm assuming that is also for PS4 as well. They have Civ 6 on Switch for $20, which is a great deal as well for that game. Let's see.
I'm not seeing too much stuff that stands out though for them.
Yeah,
Their site is like weird looking.
Yeah, they got Ukulele in the Impossible Lair. That just came out last month. That's on Switch for $20. So that's a pretty good deal. Overwatch they have on Switch for $25. Let's see. Oh, Catherine. So this is the one. Catherine Full Body on PS4. They have it for $25.
Okay.
So this is the place to go for that.
That's the cheapest.
Game.
Okay.
So yeah, Bloodstained in this game. This is the store to go to for those two. which I will more than likely be doing myself. They also have Undertale on Switch, $5 off, which is usually that game is really hard to find on sale, generally. And this is the one that was crazy. So they have a bunch of PS4 games, $9.99. God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn,
Wow.
Last of Us, Uncharted Collection, Uncharted 4, Persona 5, Neo,
What?
Ratchet and Clank, the one that came out on PS4, Bloodborne, Little Big Planet 3, Until Dawn, Anthem, interestingly enough, Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami, all $9.99. So those are pretty good
I might
deals.
get the Yakuza games.
Right. Days Gone for $20. That's the cheapest I've seen it. They also have Kingdom Hearts 3, Spider-Man, Game of the Year, Resident Evil, all for $15. And Division 2, it looks like, for $15. So Best Buy's got some nice pricing, man. Borderlands 3 they have for $28, which is the lowest price I think I've seen it on here. So, yeah, they're pretty competitive. Best Buy is usually pretty good with their deals, in my opinion.
Have a better gaming laptop deal. I'm in kind of in the market for laptops, as you can tell. But
yeah, so I will say I'm not seeing any deals for
consoles,
Outer Worlds.
Oh yeah,
I've not seen anything for any of the stores with that. So
yeah, that's unfortunate.
Kind of disappointing because that game did come out a month ago. I was really hoping for a deal to at least bring it down to 40 or something like that, but it seems like Microsoft doesn't want to do that. Last place is GameStop. Nothing particularly special here. I think the only thing they have that I want to call out is they have a white PS4 Pro for $299. So if you're looking for a white model PS4 Pro, which I owned the white PS4 for a while, it does look dope. The controller in particular is awesome.
Okay.
So that's the one call out for GameStop that I'll say. So otherwise, I'm kind of disappointed in the deals overall. As I said,
you'll think they'll try to get this stuff out the door since the new consoles are around the corner.
I will say I'm coming at that from the perspective of somebody who bought a lot of games this year. If you didn't and you are buying a console right now and trying to get in, dude, there's so many games that came out this year that are $15, like Kingdom Hearts 3, Division 2. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So it's disappointing to me from that sense because I own a lot of these games or have already bought them. But if you hadn't, dude, there's some really good deals.
Really good stuff here
in there. So, if you're willing to brave the crowds, which I will say in Texas, they're not that crazy. So
that is one thing I am grateful about Texas.
Right.
In Michigan, it's fucking insane.
Well, because the reason is because there's so many of these fucking stores everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a Target 15 minutes in every direction.
Yeah.
And a Walmart, there's one 5 minutes in every direction.
That doesn't mean move down here, guys. We don't want y'all.
No. Stay away. Stay away. You damn Californians. Stay in California. Don't raise my living costs. Man.
Hey, it kind of slowed down for them, man.
It did, yeah. But, yeah. So, any other deals that you know of that have jumped out to you? Or
no, I think some of your guys' best bets, if you are looking for deals, scour the internet for one-offs, go to Newegg and
Amazon.
Amazon.
I mean, you always got to be diligent with Amazon.
Yeah, go be diligent with Amazon. Their deals really don't happen on Friday. You want to wait till Monday for those deals. A lot of other a lot of other one-off sites that do sell physical copy of games, they always have some good Black Friday or good Cyber Monday deals.
Right.
So yeah, just do your due diligence. All you gotta do is Google search, Cyber Monday deals for video games, and I'm pretty sure you'll get a lot of hits.
Hey, if you're looking for a gaming share, go to DX Racer's website. They do a Black Friday sale every year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why I have one. It's not a great sale. They do about 25% off, I'd say, off the pricing, which is good though.
That's pretty.
Normally,
good.
I mean, you're saving over $100 with that. So with one of their shares. But I will say, dude, their chair, I spent years trying to find a good office chair, and DX Racer is highly recommended for me. So
And this is a non-sponsored opinion, guys.
Right. I've had it for 2 years, and the thing has shown zero degradation in its quality.
Okay.
Build quality. So, pretty impressed from that perspective. So, all right, that's going to be it for us this week, guys. So, if you like the show, please like the show, review the show, subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And if you could, please share it with your friends. We would like to grow the audience. If you'd like to interact with either of us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage from Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I am at ThunderNet01, and the show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. Next week, I don't know what we're going to be talking about. I might have played Pokemon by next week. I think you might as well, because you said you might get it this weekend. He'll probably have more Sekiro thoughts. But
yeah, I'm definitely jumping between Pokemon and Sekiro.
This was a very meaty week of news. So
we haven't did an episode like this in a while.
Right. Yeah, man. Dude, we're at like 2:30, man.
Yeah.
Jesus. So I think I'm just going to cut it off there, guys. So we hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you on the next one. All right? Bye, guys.